No Rock.
Yep, no Brock.
But it's DRX's first pick. They banned it. So the Jace is going to come through. Nothing has changed.
Yeah,
after
the
Jace
two,
went 0-1.
Yeah, exactly. The two, like, an unwinning junglers both getting banned away first. Just showing that there are some answers, although it's sometimes it's not worth taking the risk.
Yunara, another pick to consider banning here.
Rumble, please. Please ban Rumble. Rumble is silly.
Well, they can first pick it. If they ban Azir, for example, then forces DNS to ban Orianna, then they can first pick Rumble. So I kind of feel like that works too.
All right, well.
They ban the Rumble, though, as you suggest. And so now we're just going to have a trade of those mid laners, but perhaps with a Yunara first pick.
Yunara first pick? That would be crazy. I guess, yeah, you don't really need to pick one of the mid laners.
It depends on if you have a preference. If you have a preference, you pick it. Yuka has a preference.
He does. And his Orianna's actually looked very good, but Closer would have blind picked Azir in this moment. So they're very happy to go for this trade on both sides. We have seen Orianna actually do pretty well in the matchup.
But this is why
oh god, yeah, that's
sometimes
scary.
you first pick the Yunara instead of having a preference.
Well, they yeah, they would have been able to get Yunara whatever mid laner they would have liked if it is Orianna, if they had just first.
Yeah, let's see what the answer is here, because I think they probably expected that the Yunara would be locked in here.
Zeri Yumi.
That would be very funny. Corki and mystery support. Bard is banned, so that's like DNS being like, okay, well, we're going to take the Yunara if you take the Ori, and you're not going to have the Bard to push. The Deco was banned by DRX, so they don't have that Corki duo.
What about Nautilus? What about Xin Zhao?
I mean, they could just take Xin Zhao. That's kind of what I was thinking right now in terms of setup here for grabbing a jungle.
Nocturne,
Nocturne,
the Ori Nocturne.
Ori Nocturne combo. We haven't seen that many non-T1 teams prioritize this combo, but it is still out there. It's still relevant. They push up the Alistar. They can now protect with there's no Nico, there's no Bard. Renata not relevant in this lane.
How are we feeling about top lane Nocturne Sylas jungle?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too good about it either. Pretty decent spot to be picking up the Alistar there for Peter, and we know that Peter is pretty good on this champion.
Czar taken away, that's kind of a hint.
A bit of a crocodilian hint, is that what you're thinking?
Could be that, or it could be even potentially the Jax we've already seen.
Oh, true.
You see the Rakan taken away, makes a lot of sense. This Alistar pick is, by the way, the most picked support in LCK. The Cassante was super obvious because...
but I said Kennen.
I know.
That was a bit silly of me.
Well, they might still be able to get it in that R5 spot.
Yeah, if Dudu does lock away the Renekton here blind, then the Kennen for Rich is going to be available.
Yeah, I think you just take a jungle here and get counterpicked.
And that's a good idea.
That jungle probably just going to be Xin Zhao. What a shock!
Oh my goodness, Wolf, you're a genius!
Fearless doesn't impact game one.
Wouldn't it be... It'd be kind of hilarious. Maybe we should experiment with it, where Fearless is just the whole day. And so if you're playing the second series, you just can't use any of the champions that happened in the previous series.
So they already have support counterpick in this spot, but they opt to... Oh, of course they have to. They're not red side. They're not red side because they had to blind their top lane anyways because this is first pick and not red side.
You're on such a roll, Wolf.
I know.
Ugh.
ROFL Wolf. Oh. ROFL, you missed the rob.
I'm right of first selectioning all on the floor at the moment. All right, Braum going to be the lock away though. Not exactly awe-inspiring. But should be dealing with this lane relatively well. And there is the Rek'Sai as the answer to the Renekton.
With the Azir here and a lot of scaling damage and the lack of a front line because the Cassante was banned, the Rek'Sai makes more sense than the Kennen, I think, as a counter pick here for Dudu in this final pick. The drafts here are pretty self-explanatory because they're drafts that we've seen a lot already. This meta took a while to solidify, but we've kind of gotten to the point where we know if the Orianna trade comes through, you want to pair it with a good ball carrier. Sometimes it's the Jarvan. Most of the time it's the Jarvan, but sometimes it's the Alistar. In this case, it's the Nocturne. They have the Corki 2-item spike in the mid game. There's the Renekton that's going to be really strong with that. DN Supers got the scaling draft. They got the Rek'Sai frontline. They have the Rek'Sai, which is decent into the Renekton early. They have the Xin Zhao, they have the late game Azir and Yunara damage. So I kind of give them the edge here with how likely it is that this early game is going to snowball out of control. But we'll have to play the composition well, and we'll have to be able to set up to fight later on. Because there's a lot of ways that you just press R, and you press R on Orianna Nocturne, and you win the game, even in the late game, even against a scaling comp.
Yeah, I feel like DNS kind of just have the 2025 special. I feel like this composition was run like all worlds long, right? Like this was the classic. Obviously, Rek'Sai took a while to make her way into the meta, but this is looking very stock standard for what we saw last year.
It's a matter of, I think, DN Super's comp has a higher ceiling. You know, it is certainly the later and better scaling composition, but DRX's comp is so easy to execute and so well defined that they may just simply roll over them before we get to that scaling argument.
Yeah.
Oh, little wink there.
And we got plenty of time to argue about it as well, because I think the lobby may have gone boom, and so we are looking to try and make our way back into said lobby so that we can play the video game. It's not boom, never mind. Confirmation, not boom. It's fine. It's just going to take a bit of time before we get in there. But it means that we have some drafts to talk about. Would you like to talk about them, Wolf, or would you like to talk about something else? Why don't we take a poll
right before we talked about the lobby going boom, I summed up the entirety of both drafts, both compositions.
It was quite succinct.
And I think I don't want to do it again.
All right. You don't have to. That's totally fine.
I saw someone tweet.
Oh, from Australia. I'm from there.
All right. It says Australia as well, right there.
Yeah, I wonder whether we were friends in high school. Because Australia is pretty small.
Are you going to do the Aussie thing for him?
No,
think you can hear us?
Even Aussies struggle with that. I feel like it's a bit cringy.
It's a bit like other non-Australians kind of push Australians to do it, but they don't really enjoy it.
Yeah. Did you watch what was it, like Physical Asia?
No. Oh, wait, what's that? Is that the?
It was like the Physical 100.
Oh,
but
yeah. I did see part of that.
It was really fun. The Australian team did the Aussie Oyo thing, and it was just, I don't know.
You mean the producer told them to do it, and then they did it?
Yeah, possibly.
Just kind of like how I told you to do it, and neither of you did it, and that's probably the more natural response. Okay, I got it.
I think if you guys did it in chat, it'd be fine.
What if you both did a shoey?
We could do a shoey. Yeah. I mean,
because this pause is taking a while. I mean,
I'm not Uber,
water right there.
You know, like I feel like Uber's the shoey guy. He's really committed to the shoeys over time.
It rubbed off on a good old Bren as well.
Yeah. Those guys, they really did. They did live and breathe it. But I wasn't so good at. I was never really much of a shoey guy. I generally wore my shoes and then drank out of a glass. That was my way of doing it. So that's just how it is. But we will have the game for you as soon as possible. Do you not worry.
Someone in the crowd said they skipped school to come here.
They're getting their money's worth tonight.
Yeah. And like if they thought they were going to make their later class, maybe not anymore.
All right. And so there's a bunch of like technical stuff that we have to do to make sure that we can get back into the draft.
Yeah, this is how it goes. Like when things break, you have to do it all the official way for record keeping.
Yep.
Which is probably not a surprise to anyone. It's a cool DRX shirt there to the top right. I don't know if I've ever seen that one before. I like that one.
Ooh. Not bad at all. By the way, do you know that person from chat that always just says that Peanut is the best and hottest jungler?
Yeah.
They also said that Australia is the best country. That's cool. I hope you add that to the line every single time. That'd be really, really cool.
Yeah, I guess that just...
Don't worry, we see you every day when you come in and say the same thing. And I'm hoping that the Australia is the best country in the world part is added to that.
After that news that Australia is, in fact, the most superior country in the world, I guess we should start building bridges to it so everyone can drive there.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. They'd be really long bridges as well. And doesn't everyone love a good old long bridge?
Yeah, just like what we just did to go from the end of the draft into the start of this.
Yeah, man, you made that bridge. That was beautiful. Oh, absolutely incredible stuff. And yeah, we are ready to get into the draft. I can't remember what the champions are, but I'm sure we'll be able to have a look at the pictures once we get into the game, and that will refresh all of our memories, and we'll be able to get into this. Game number 1 starting right now. All right. Rich going for a newer skin this time around. That one's pretty cool.
I haven't really seen it, but it's got some serious Majora's Mask vibes going on.
Ooh, I'm into that. It's very, very cool. I thought it was like a bit Twilight Princess. You know, where you go into like that thingy at the end with, what's his name, Zant?
A lot of the Zelda games have that similar kind of aesthetic with the eyeballs. So
yeah,
shoot them with the arrow to open the door.
The lens of truth type thing.
Lens of truth, yeah. Sheikah Slate, kind of got the eyeball going on.
Yeah. All of that chic stuff.
You know what? Did we just break Zelda? We're like, oh my god, they just put eyeballs on it. That's the art direction.
They figured it out.
Vaguely mysterious or evil, draw eyeballs on it.
And honestly, that has happened quite a lot with other things as well.
You know, like Full Metal Alchemist, you know, a lot of the dark and mysterious things, a lot of eyeballs.
Just add more eyeballs. Really or take eyeballs away, you know, because the Cyclopses are pretty scary too, and that's just take an eyeball away. It's just not 2 eyeballs.
Well, and it's usually one accentuated larger eyeball as well.
Yeah,
so it's both. Like you take one away, but you also make it bigger.
Oh, look at it.
It's very cool.
It is very, very cool. I'm a big fan of that.
See the eye looking thing?
Yeah, he's got the lens of truth.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that thing called? The weapon? Because it's that weapon's name of truth.
I don't know. It's the thing that Mbessa has 2 of that are like the mini ones. That doesn't help you at all, but I don't.
Yeah, no, Notofo's that's
Cassante.
Cassante. So, yeah, I have no idea. Anyway, Gio's going to be taken down to half health here, as we are going to come back to the game momentarily.
Yeah, we can come back to it. I'm glad to just not talk about an 80 carry level 1 anymore, just for a second.
I think we'll be okay.
It's the meta, it's the game, it's the matchups.
All right, check it out. Dudu and Rich fighting it out. 2 prehistoric monsters. Well, actually, one. You could be prehistoric if you're in the Void, but it's like Void history, so it's really hard to know.
Yeah, we don't really understand it that much yet.
Yeah, I haven't put my research in. I'm going to assume prehistoric because Rek'Sai's sort of got that vibe.
Well, since we don't have history of it, it's pre our history of the Void.
That's true, but is it like what about the Void's history? Wouldn't the Void have their own history?
Yeah, but if we don't know it. Is that
is it really there? If like a tree falls in the forest, does it really make a sound? Is that
when we talk about history? We talk about the history we observe, but not the history.
But what about the history someone observed? Like Malzahar probably observed it.
Well, we should get him on the desk.
Yeah, we need him on the desk. Him and Kassadin. Maybe they could just break it down, give us a brief history of the Void.
Lens of Truth is the item.
Yeah, isn't that what I said? Did I not say the Lens of Truth, or did I say something else?
Yeah, no, I don't know. They're showing a picture of it for some reason.
I mean, that is what the Lens of Truth looks like, and it is kind of on the weapon. But we do need to have we need the weapon's name for Renekton. Yeah, so I can put that into the play-by-play. I think that's kind of.
Maybe it's just the Lens of Truth for Renekton.
Oh, maybe that's what he uses. Maybe that's actually the name of the weapon as well. That'd be interesting. Anyway.
This bottom lane, we keep watching it, but it actually is Braum versus Alistar, and there's some sustain here. It's very difficult for the Braum to actually win this lane or have kill pressure in this lane. They're winning it slightly. Level 4 gets hit.
Yeah, I feel like this should be better for the Corki Braum, though, than it is currently. So Peter and Dr. Doing pretty well.
I've been watching a lot back of some of the early level 1s of the Alistar lanes because it is our most picked support right now. We've seen a lot of like level 1 heals for tempo. And it just seems like everyone has accepted that Alistar is so good outside of the lane, and especially level 1, that everyone's just kind of gotten better at losing lane with Alistar gracefully. Is kind of a bit of an all-in here.
Yeah, Rich looking for the angle here. Does he have the Q? He flashes and misses. A little bit unfortunate, but does get the flash in response. And the Year of Dudu takes a little bit of a step back momentarily.
Or the Year of Dudu flashing at the perfect time to not die there.
Oh, Year of Dudu confirmed.
That's what Year of Dudu believers would say.
Yeah, that does sound like a Year of Dudu thing to say. Oh, headbutt to try and stop that wave from being held, but I believe was actually still kind of held. That's pretty nice. Rich looking to just home guard his way back. Dudu able to actually teleport, so feeling pretty good about that. Both of them with very similar items.
Early lane gets a little bit tougher for Rek'Sai, but gets better as it goes on.
Oh, by the way, the Renekton's weapon is called an axe with a curved blade without a handle. That's so wordy. But the guy's name has crocodile in it, so I mean,
it has a name. Like it has a name. We just haven't found it.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I can tell you it's probably a made-up name like Rookern, but it does have a name.
I do like Rookern though. Renekton's weapon is the Butcher's Cleaver. That's not it.
No.
That's not it at all.
No.
I know what the Butcher's Cleaver looked like. I played a lot of Diablo 1.
This is why you can't trust chat for these types of, you know, scholastic adventures you're going on right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still like to test them. You know, sometimes that's what it's all about. Scholastic adventures with chat.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful time.
There's
especially in this early game where it's just a Drake that's going to be taken here by DRX. Well, at least a Scuttle is going to be taken by DRX.
Well,
not too
Scuttle will at least then set up some vision for a potential Drake take. It also gives level 6 to Willer, so that's really important, especially when UCal holds his ult right now.
Very true.
There could be an angle. His Closer just TP'd back in, even if he does not die. If he ended up having to leave lane, that would be a disaster, but there's not an angle. He plays safe. Speaking of angles.
There's Epa Pulverize onto Jew. Tries to Valkyrie away, but he does get stunned by the trample. Heal comes through, though, as Doctom is actually stunned up, and Jew looking for the angle. Can he flash over the wall? The answer's no, as he is on vision. Oh, no!
Peter.
The headbutt hits him away from the circle.
That's why Doctom says, like, life was a sport I gelled with most, but, also, like, I'm pretty sure if Geo flashed there, he gets the kill on Doctom. He had vision, there was a ward there. But he didn't do it and then walked forward anyways and then had to flash. So that was a very, let's say it was, the whole situation was on the knife's edge, okay?
Yeah, or on a, what is it? The deer horn knife's edge, which is apparently something like Baleth's weapon. Wow, this is very convoluted. So I guess Renekton's
That's a Star Trek
thingy
thing.
is just not really there. Batleth? Is that actually a Star Trek
It says it's
person?
based on Chinese deer horn knives, but it's a Klingon thing. So I don't know. Who in our entire talent group knows Star Trek?
This is Yundo. Founded on Reddit somewhere, I reckon.
No, there's no way. Who's the Star Trek?
Oh, it was G-Sun. Never mind.
Oh, it was G-Sun.
Sorry,
Like,
I didn't mean to.
G-Sun is the Star Trek person in our group. I really just didn't. That was
Didn't
not
pick
in my
G-Sun for a
expectation.
Trekkie.
Oh yeah.
Did not pick that.
Oh, now
although she does say that she has zero Star Trek knowledge.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. You're outed now to the whole world.
I have a lot of Star Trek knowledge, but not the Star Trek knowledge that people would respect. I just really like Chris Pine movies.
Next time G-Sun's on the space doing an interview translation for one of our space students, when we close, I'm going to need her to do the double split fingers thing.
Yeah! All right. Okay, so
nothing has happened since the bottom 2v2 all-in that neither team ended up winning out?
Yes. DRX do have a 300 gold lead. They could use that to pay for a coach voice if they would like to, I'm sure.
That's not how it works.
I imagine Joker is, he's champion.
It's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You get 3 lifelines, but they're all the same lifeline, and they're all phone a friend.
So a Batleth is actually a Klingon-style weapon, though. I'm sorry to interrupt. So rude.
Yeah.
But it was. You were right.
I mean, that's what it said on the prompter. That's why I was like, G-Sun's the Klingon person.
Live long and prosper, Wolf.
Yeah.
And G-Sun. And
again,
great pulverize here from Peter, who does hit level 6, but he's looking a bit worse for wear as the stun is... Oh, that's first blood over to Jew. And now Doctom is dead as well. Andil just throwing the stuns around like they're going out of fashion, and they'll be able to get a swift 2-0 in the bottom lane.
Well, the funny part about both of those exchanges was last time around, like, Jiu probably could have gotten the kill right, but he played conservatively, and then there was the whole funny, like, he didn't flash, but they flashed late and barely got away. But it's like, it's the same clip, except this time Doctom has level 6 and Peter has his ult, but he's also super low. I think this was just a gross miscalculation. Like, it was not even close.
Yeah.
Somebody fix that quirky replay bug.
The Gatling gun is still Gatling as it goes. Yeah, Joker pretty psyched about it.
Yeah, he did not say that in coach voice as far as I know. He just said it loudly in the booth by himself.
He might have been practicing. Yukal, very high value flash right there. But Closer retains his, so a possible return gank, a possibility here. Well, overused possible. A bit unfortunate. I'll have to retcon that. As, yeah, Closer should be able to sweep up Yukal on the next journey over here for Pyoshik, who's been pretty quiet so far this game, just been farming things out. As Rich has been having a pretty good time, but Dudu has made his way back to relative farm parity and actually has a bigger wave to pick up as well, so he might actually be ahead as this wave does reset.
Do you see that first item pickup here for Closer of the Gnasher's Tooth? Is actually pretty massive to pick up, but not going to have it, sadly, for him in time to contest this dragon. And he does not have 3 grubs to utilize it with in the side lane, but it is going to be useful as soon as he moves out of said mid lane. This is going to be first dragon very late in this game. Well, not very late for 26.1 standards, but slightly late.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of late dragons this season.
Oh, next one going to be a Chemtech. So a lot of pretty good Drakes, but it will be an Ocean Soul this game because it's an Ocean Soul day. That's just how it goes.
Imagine getting 6 for 6 Ocean Souls.
Someone's
going to have to calculate the percentage of that likelihood.
That would be very low likelihood, I think.
We had 5 Chemtech Souls in a row at Challengers once, which is... Someone told me the odds was like 1 in 10,000%.
What were the odds of Rich missing that cannon?
I don't know.
It's 100% now, because he missed it.
I don't know what it would have been if he, you know, like if we were trying to rationalize that. I don't think it's really a percentage thing, it's a skill thing.
Yeah, I guess.
That's going to be a collection of the Scuttle, as this game here for DRX, I mean, it's a very significant lead they have. The kills in the bottom lane, the objectives they have, like they have all the objectives, they have all the money. And even though UCal doesn't have his first item, partially because he's got a Dark Seal in his inventory, and once he picks that up, we're really going to be looking for DRX to continue to further this small lead that they have right now.
Yep.
As the Rek'Sai is dealing with the Renekton better now, as we kind of mentioned earlier was going to eventually happen, but it hasn't turned into a lead just yet. Grabbed the first plate, and Rich is going to, looks like, trade one back.
By the way, my favorite response for what Renekton's weapon is just a glaive. For me, it seems more like a polearm or something like that.
So that's what the Mutalisk in the StarCraft shootout is, Renekton's weapon.
What?
The Mutalisk attack is called glaives.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because they bounce,
something
right?
Glaive, actually.
No, but isn't
it's a glaive worm. That's what it is.
Right, yeah. Because, like, it's also, who's the Priestess of the Moon from Warcraft 3? She has a glaive that does the bouncy thing, kind of like Sivir, right?
Sure. I don't know. You lost me at Warcraft.
Oh, sorry. I thought you used to be one of those games guy.
I kind of was, but I don't really know the names of the abilities there. Anyway, from now on saying we need to fight with Corki. You know, Yunara is going to come so position well.
Yep.
I'll fight till mid flashes back up, etc. So just play it safe. Setting up for the subsequent fights and how they want to do it.
I like it. I also like that Joker didn't use it too early on, and so can now take care of some of the late game fights, because I think this one is probably going to be going late. We can see that it's not necessarily exploding out of control outside of the fact that there was that 2v2 kill that happened towards the bottom side, as Rich will be able to tidy up all of these minions pretty comfortably, but Dudu also just tunnels his way out of there, so should be okay. Titanic Hydra is now done. Rich took a little bit of a detour to grab the Executioner's Calling, which I do really like, into the Rek'Sai, but is going to slow down that Black Cleaver.
I also like tier 3 Sork shoes into this composition coming out from UCal. We don't always see this. We've seen a lot of different variations. Like, a lot of people are loving the Merc Treads right now, but also the Ionian boots are in style for a lot of mid laners.
Yep.
They have a lot of different flexibility. Feels like the way they changed tier 3 boots even makes like plated steel cops viable in AD carry matchups, as Pioshik is not alone here.
He is a level down. We've got a bit of a top laner fight as well, as Dudu is trying to tunnel his way out. That's going to be a steal on the crab, as well as Willa making his way in. The exhaust goes down, and concussive blows should come through. Never mind, Pioshik able to make his way out as Closer is found. Jiu trying to get in amongst this fight, as now UCal comes over, and Pioshik is going to be able to make the Wolven exit. Oh, Shockwave to finish him off. And UCal says goodnight to Pioshik there. Now DRX 3-0 against DNS now.
And this wasn't even really part of the coach comms. This was just like, okay, Pioshik thinks he can get that crab. He can't be there. We actually have Orianna. We have Nocturne. The Nocturne's able to ult in. And he's able to secure the crab in ult, of course. And then the follow-up here, it's just too many members of DRX, right? Like, Rich is able to close the gap here faster. There's no tunnel set up for Dudu to actually join this fight, so he's just on the edge of it here. And Gio, not really under any threat. Actually, even Valkyrie's on the Closer there, as Closer doesn't use his ult. Pioshik is left out alone. He was the one that's initially started with the catch-on.
Yep.
As the only one to die.
Really well played. UCal now looking for a bit of an angle here towards his bottom side, as we have 30 seconds on this Chemtech Dragon. Will be coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, the fight happened before the Rift Herald spawned, so that would spawn, but no one's interested in that part of the map anymore.
Yeah, it's old news.
A lot of vision around it, though, for DRX, and that skill they secured, as well as a control ward in the pit. And they're just trying to push on Pyosik again. And they're looking for, I mean, with Yukal Shockwave close by, I mean, they may actually even be able to turn this into a potential play with Willer's ult once it comes through, but the timing's a little bit early, so I don't think it's going to amount to anything.
And Joker did say that they should start fights once they have that flash for Yukal up and available, and look at it. It is up and available. They will be starting up this dragon, though. That's going to be the first thing. Control vision in the pit, as Rich doing some battle here with Dudu, but you can see that the Rek'Sai is having a much better time at this stage of the game. Titanic Hydra in hand. And there is the dragon going down. It's a mountain soul. So finally, we are free of ocean prison, and it's going to be the mountains.
Okay. Bit of a 2v2 down here that's very awkward with supports and mid laners, and I don't think it's going to amount to anything. As topside, by the way, a lot of control over to DRX.
Yeah.
I've not secured this Rift Herald just yet. I have one priority being set up around it.
Big advantage here for Jiu as well as far as money is concerned, but has his Trinity Force complete, so it's not just the money, it's the fact that he's bought an item that spikes really hard when he gets it.
Yukal, see if he takes the bait.
Yeah, Closer is just going to shift the sands towards him, decides not to invest the flash to try and take down Yukal here. Didn't want to go for the trade.
That's just free Herald, though. Like, Pyosik is sitting down there going, all right, let's see if they fall for our trap.
Yep.
And Yukal is just simply way too experienced and has a good read on the situation. There's just a lot of vision topside as well. Like, well, I mean, if Pyosik is not here, then he must be doing something funky on the bottom side. Let's just slow play this, play defensively, and the Willer, as soon as they are able to suss this out, it's just like, all right, cool, thanks for the free Herald. They have gotten every single objective that the map has to offer.
I don't like talking about it, but it is perfect game pace that they're on right now. 17.5 minutes in.
If plates counted before, I mean, they absolutely don't count now, man.
No. That's got to be.
It's not a perfect game. Somebody autoed a turret. Okay, all right.
Yeah. You need to keep all of your crystalline overgrowth healthy.
Yeah, no crystalline overgrowth can ever be procced. It's not even about the plate. Like,
yeah.
They got a Phaelite. It's done. No perfect game.
Wait, how do you know whose Phaelite is whose, though? Is it just if it's on your side of the map?
If a Phaelite's ever secured.
Any Phaelite ever.
No. They put a ward in it.
Oh, golly. Okay,
well, I guess to get perfect games, just put the one in the one next door base. All right, cool.
I guess we just do not have perfect games available. It's just unlucky,
After that one time they said it wasn't with the grubs, I feel like they're trying to make sure it doesn't exist, you know? Like, perfect games, the perfect game doesn't exist.
They're going to kill Shelly, though, after she charges, and so that means it can't be a perfect game, right? Because that's Rift Herald. That's the objective.
No, it's a Rift Herald kill, you're right.
Oh, no. And, yeah, so Dr. Arm is going to lock that one down. So
Call me crazy, but, I mean, I'm looking at Peter's ward score, his vision score. I'm like, I think he's killed a few wards, so it's also probably not a perfect game.
That's a really good point.
Dr. Arm picked up the residual red buff there as well, so another reason why it's probably not a perfect game.
You just don't like perfect games, Wolf.
No, I want them to be perfect games. I've just been told that there's too many things that are not allowing it. So
I think maybe we should change the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
There's been too many near perfect games.
I want to say that if DRX continue to get all of the objectives and do not die, then it's going to be a perfect game.
And turrets do not die as well.
Yes, those ones as well.
Plates, fine. Turret not dying, that's a perfect game in my mind.
Yep. And right now there's an Azir in the top lane that's bearing down on a turret that does have only 2 plates remaining, so that could be where the perfect game dies. But so far, DRX, I mean, this is a composition that also has a lot of ease of execution as you get to this stage of the game, right? Put an orb on guy that turns lights out, and then he goes in and there's the orb that does the damage and pulls everyone in. And then Crocodile goes chomp.
This whole game has just been DRX finding punish windows, and every time DNS operate in such a way where there's a small weak point, DRX strike, and then they wait for the next opportunity. It's just happened a few times, right? The secondary all in the bottom lane and then that catch on the Pyosik, but it's been those small kills leading to a greater map and objective control setup here that also offers them a 3.3 thousand gold lead. And it's looking like it's not going to change anytime soon.
Yep, let's have a look at the coach voice one more time. Surprise, surprise, it's Joker again. Just making sure that he lets everyone know exactly what to do. Said that they needed to not do something. That's what I managed to catch. We'll get full confirmation as to what was said as soon as we can. That's all right, 20 minutes. on the clock, and the Baron has just spawned. 3,000 gold remains the lead here for DRX. And Rich.
Rich, do not get solo lane killed randomly again.
Yeah, that would
perfect
not.
Game in the balance.
That would really affect the ability to get a perfect game. It would be quite detrimental to it.
I need no random Rich death around 20 minutes. That's happened a few too many times.
Yep.
Like right here, specifically every time.
Well, I mean, he does have Dominus, so he should be all right, I say, as he decides to dash on forward. Oh, and he manages to get the cannon as well. Beautiful. Jonas Strong doesn't have to do a zoom in.
All right, there is no Pyoshik on the bottom side of the map, so this dragon should be safe, but they might get the turret, Atlas.
Oh no! Oh, that can't be it. If there's a pulverize, as Yukal gets the shockwave off, the stun does come on through, but Jiu makes his way over to save the perfect game. Peter doesn't have an unbreakable will this time around.
Get up there and save that turret.
Yeah, Closer is trying to. Oh, there it goes.
Oh.
Yeah, the perfect game goes boom.
Oh, I cannot believe Yukal did not flash to save the turret.
Yeah, he really should have.
He should have just been headed straight up there. Well, it's ruined now. Anyway, anything else you got in this?
Joker needs to get into coach voice to chastise them for giving up the perfect game. I think that was a really large portion of what went wrong there.
It doesn't feel like we're on perfect game pace because of the fact that this is not a game where it's like an 8,000 gold lead at 20 minutes. Like, that's usually when we're talking about perfect game. It's just been so calculated by DRX, though, this whole time.
Yeah, and it does mean that DNS aren't out of this just yet. Yes, we've been making perfect game jokes and things like that.
Yeah, but
it is sole point, so that is a huge deal. But, I mean, they're within relative touching distance, I guess, when it comes to the money.
They just sent Closer with a TP and 3 other members topside to catch a recalling player who completed the recall. That isn't really doing them a big tempo advantage there on the top side of the map. They also gave up Dragon. So watch this fight again. To call it a fight is kind of unfair, as it's really just Yukal and Ando fighting back when Jiu shows up and does extra damage. His Closer was too busy denying the perfect game to come down and help.
But he did a very good job denying it at that. I mean, that's what he's supposed to do as DNS. Don't give it to DRX for free like you did all of the Dragons this game.
The coordination is better here for DRX in this game, and some of it's because of Coach Comms, but most of it is just because they're playing as a unit without them in these situations where they're able to catch a member or catch the aggression. Sure, they lost the turret, which is valuable. It is money going over to Closer. But I'm not worried about the 3,000, nearly 4,000 actually gold lead here for DRX for DNS. I'm just worried if they can coordinate a team fight, because we just have not been able to see them operate together in this game. Like, there is a Yunara in this game, believe it or not. I haven't seen her for a while, and she hasn't autoed any champions, and we're 23 minutes in.
Yeah, it's sort of the way the game is going that's the worry, and not anything else. As Jiu with a cheeky phage in his inventory right now. And does have that 2-item spike now complete. Basically, whatever Corki builds from this stage is just icing on the cake. He's very, very happy with these items so far. And with a 1.4 thousand gold lead, he's looking pretty frightening. As Baron still up and available. No one's really looked at starting it, but a fair bit of vision here for DRX to make sure that there's
they have
any funny business.
Like, DRX here, I think there's only one ward. That ward just above Ando they haven't seen. They have insane coverage otherwise. They're even just going to start contesting this blue buff. Duckdom still farming in the mid lane. Will need to join if his team's going to commit.
Cool. Peter looking to try and push forward as they do get a fair bit of vision down. Control ward goes in. And Peter will be able to at least clear out this ward in the river. Ping's going down here towards the bottom side of the map, giving away Dudu's position, who doesn't have flash up and available just yet.
It just seems that with this setup here for DRX, they want to set a trap for Baron. If DNS don't take the bait, they're just going to continue to control vision all down the river, and then eventually take Mountain Soul. And they don't need to force a Baron fight. Even though they have really good turn, this Orianna is on 2 items with obviously the triple, or rather the tier 3 Sork shoes, so decent amount of burst damage in the Shadow Flame Orianna. They have the combo. But you know what? If they don't like what they see and DNS don't walk into the choke, they can just continue to further their lead elsewhere. The vision game has been pretty immaculate from DRX in all of their games so far here at LCK Cup. This team is suddenly becoming one of my favorite dark horses of this early part of the year, just because they've been so shockingly good with a roster that otherwise looked to be
greater than the sum of their parts.
Yeah.
이번에 무직 가야 돼.
Very, very cool. As we do have Coach Voice once again, talking about the fact that they don't have teleport, make sure to secure Dragon Soul, and before setting up around Baron, make sure you all have that and play together with Jiu, and then you can win. So that's what they're going to go for here, as Andil is going to get knocked up. Jiu is there though, he is certainly playing with Jiu, as in goes Willa, finds the angle, Emperor's Divide, but he spell shields it absolutely beautifully. The Shockwave comes in to take down Closer, and there is Pyoshik hitting the deck as well. Doctor kiting pretty nicely, but he is the last man standing. Andil will go down, but it's in trade for Dudu. Doctor does have the shield from the barrier, but unable to kill Jiu, who is still sitting at 300, and I think they will just walk over, take the Baron, and then 1 minute's time, it'll be Mountain Soul.
Instructions unclear, kind of play with Jiwoo and take Baron before Mountain Soul. That's what he said, right?
Yep.
Something like that. And that is going to be the Baron. Jungleless with the full wipe. And then they should be able to regroup and take the Mountain Soul with the prio they already have. As Andil heard the coach comms. He was like, I'm playing with Jiu, group with Jiu. And in live, the Baron is in fact secured, yes. Combo here, a little bit tricky. Spell shield is phenomenal.
Spell shield was
without the spell shield, he gets pushed away, and this fight actually looks pretty difficult to play for DRX. And then Willer does a massive amounts of damage to Duckdom, but it's the teamwork that happens after they clear up the Rek'Sai here. As barrier advantage is Duckdom's right, but he has Yukal to back him up. Rich wasn't there. Duckdom, that was his last stand, his last opportunity there, and it does not work out. Tried his best, but ultimately does fall flat on his face. And now they can regroup, like I said, for the spawning Mountain Soul fight. Willer has his ultimate back at the ready. Yukal the same. 16 for both. The jungle advantage here is 2 levels for Willer.
Well, Wind becomes lightning. In he goes. Pyoshik does get exhausted, as there's the Crescent Guard as well. Rich standing in that front line, though, looking to try and cut down this Xin Zhao, and he will do so. The Shockwave was used on the air because it was just Pyoshik's corpse that was in the area. But now there is no smite to try and contest this Mountain Soul. The rest of DNS realize they have to go in, but it's Rich that pulls the trigger first. Doctum tries to dash away, but there's a slice and a dice waiting for him. As Closer with the Emperor's Divide is going to put some Sand Soldiers in the way, but the rest of his team are going to fall like paper, and DRX will get their prize and look for even more with a 3.3k Rebel Baron power play already.
Does this DRX roster kind of reminds me of old days, like slow, boring macro Gen G, where you're like, oh, they're just not fighting a lot, but they have a huge lead, and when they do fight, they pick the right targets, and they win the fight every time. It's so infuriating to play against. You don't have any ins, you don't have any angles, but they just don't give them to you. I mean, with the lead they have now, it's so difficult to play out. Sunday's turret's not going to do them any favors here. Nor is the Shockwave that you mentioned that did just Shockwave the air, but they kill the jungler first, and it becomes so much easier to front to back, and also the Rek'Sai.
Oh, it actually killed Pyoshik, so never mind.
Oh, really? Did it?
Yeah,
I thought he died before.
Nah, you last hit him with it.
Okay, I wasn't watching in this
He did have about 10 health.
And the rotation over of the Rek'Sai was a little bit late, right? And then Closer is destroying on the other side. But it's Rich is engaged onto the Inara that makes this fight so completely unplayable. They know that Duckdom doesn't have flash. Rich has flash deploy to just press W on him. And that's enough.
Yeah.
To really close the door on any opportunity there was going to be to do anything further. As Duckdom has not done damage this game, which is not a surprise to anyone who's been watching it.
It's been quite difficult for him to be able to actually hit people. As Rich, highest level in the game, hitting level 18 already, looking for level 19, try and go even further beyond.
They just take only the fights that are favorable for them, or the pick angles that are favorable for them, and they avoided every other fight. There were only really 2 fights Duckdom was in. The one fight he got shut down on the top side where he tried to barrier, but then he got killed by Yukal, and then this fight where he's flashed on. But otherwise, there were no fights because DRX were just outrunning them on the map. They were just rotating them, out-rotating them and out-macroing them with this impressive Nocturne composition, and so Duckdom just didn't have a chance to shoot enemy champions, really. Whether he was in the fight and instantly dying or not in the fight, because there wasn't a fight to be in.
It's just a little bit difficult. Jiu now has 4 items completed. At least there is an Infinity Edge that was done for Duckdom, so he does have that to his name, but it's really not enough to contend with all of the items that are on this Corki, as the last few have been eclectic. I haven't really seen too many Black Cleaver Corkis before, but I ain't going to fault him. He's 308 right now, having a pretty good game. Almost as good as Yukal, who has the opposite number, legendary, on this Orianna, and has put together the Forbidden Book and the Hourglass and a needlessly large rod that he's going to turn into a hat. Not sure how that one works structurally, but look, we've gone into it before, and I don't think we've ever had the right answer.
It's very magical to have.
2 sticks equals a hat.
Yeah.
Well,
very, very magical.
all right, well, Ju is looking for a little bit of an engage here. Does get headbutted, but there is the delivery into the backline. Willa is going to make Doctor very scared once again, and Peter, his will is going to be broken, ladies and gentlemen. I just think that that's what's going to happen. There's the dissonance to take him down, and DRX, oh man, they find a few stragglers, and DRX should be now able to break open this base and possibly take us to a game number 2.
Yeah, that's the kind of place you're in as Duckdown where you're considering role swapping like Ghost. So you're like, oh no, this role. Closer.
Well, there's the flash as Ju just stands there and is able to Valkyrie after him, finishes off that kill. Man, Ju is having a much better year in 2026, you have to say it, as the inhibitor going to go down towards his bottom side. They're going to take this wave of minions, and they are going to careen towards the Nexus. And I can see Joker already celebrating in the coach's booth, as that was some textbook League of Legends from DRX as they take down the Nexus and go up 1-0 in the series.
I mean, it was basically a technically perfect game, and I don't mean technically perfect in the sense of it was a perfect game in a very technical way. I mean, it was a macro game. Every team fight was calculated. The target selection was pristine. They never overextended in sides. They never overstepped themselves when trying to set up for deep vision. They got it when they had control. They left, used the clear of the vision to get control elsewhere. It felt like the entire game was a line of wards all down the river. There was a halfway point that DNS could not cross, and I think the super shot calling this season, maybe a little bit better than what we saw from the Freaks last season, but similar issues here. And the carries don't have damage because they were never given an opportunity to fight, and the macro was incredibly weak here for DNS. They are really going to have to go back to the drawing board as DRX, I think, really one of our sleeper dark horse super strong teams right now in the beginning of the LCK Cup.
I think they're kings of the Rise group at the moment. That's what it's looking like to me, but we'll see whether they can go even further beyond. Speaking of further beyond, Braum out-damaged 2 people on the side of DNS. So nice work, Andil. He's got a fan in the audience there as well. Time for us, though, to take a very short break. We'll try to be a little bit less silly for game number 2, but no promises. After this, we will have the space to break it down. That'll be way more serious. Don't you worry. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
누나라 보는 게 좋아.
강 나온다. 나 공대. 야 누나라
우리 몰린다.
네.
얘 못 가게 막았어.
알리 보자.
나 아래 볼게.
잡았어. 알리 보자.
가운데 지우야. 갈게.
나 간다잉.
얘나 끝내자.
아지를 위해 나 밑으로
아 그냥 해. 괜찮아. 바텀으로 하자. 바텀으로 가면 될 듯.
아지를 막아놓을게 그냥 이거.
바텀 수면 끝나? 바텀 라인 있어?
끝내자. 나 아지한테 큐풀 박을게. 좋냐고.
바텀만 끝난다. 아지를 노이큐. 아지를 이 없어 지금 뒤에 있다. 아지를 이 없는
아지를
거야.
살짝
아지를 이
볼게.
없는 거야. 조냐 있어 조냐. 아지를
아지를 높여.
야 운동시켜. 운동시켜봐. 알아서 할 수 있지 너.
아지를 잡았어.
Indeed.
Oh. You either get R1 or you get R5. Oh my god, we solved it. That's how we do RFS. It's like, did you get R1 or did you get R5? Boom.
Beautiful.
That's it. It's solved. Okay. So they went for R5.
Well, it does mean that DRX now have blue side and first pick, which I'm sure they're probably pretty happy with. Malphite and Jace are going to swap sides of the ban list, but Vi is a new one, so we are going to see something released within the Ambessa, Nico, Rumble, or Bard. We'll see who it's going to be. The Ambessa is going to remain banned. And I imagine Nico is still probably pretty high priority, as well as the Rumble. So I think maybe a Bard is open. Never mind. Cassante going to be banned away as DRX. They want to pick Rumble, guys. That's what they want to do.
Want to pick it really badly.
They would really like a Rumble.
They would really prefer that.
If you don't want them to have a good time, I'd ban Rumble. That's what
Closer is like, I have an inkling they may really want to play Rumble here.
But maybe they don't, is now what they're thinking. And the time's ticking down. They'll ban it. Okay, there we go.
This was the correct choice. So now we're going to find out what they would like to play instead.
Is it a Nico first pick? Pantheon first pick.
Pantheon
I like that
makes
one
a lot of sense. I think Nico has just become a little bit more situational in this meta. And pretty standard, easy point-and-click engage, like Rich Flash W on somebody, or Pantheon just flash point-click stun after ulting from a million miles away. Just seems pretty good. Seems pretty consistent.
I would say so.
Varus will be the option. So the desk was talking about the second pick selection, so the R5 selection, and what it means about Peter having to prove himself. I was kind of feeling the opposite about how this draft is going to go. They were going to pick their 2v2 early, and then Dudu would be proving himself, or Closer would be proving himself in the final pick for counter pick. Still could be a bottom lane counter pick, but it's looking less and less likely with this Rise to come through.
Yep. So it will be the classic Rise Talia trade, but I'm a little bit worried about this. We saw it in our previous series. Obviously, Nongshim didn't win, but I think that their composition was still very, very strong. And so Pantheon and Talia likely to be the pairing, and then possibly just one of Rich's picks to come in after that, if they would like to.
Wow, that would be pretty bizarre. Okay, it is going to come out. It's going to go straight into Gnar Talia.
Well, I mean, the Pantheon Talia was obvious, but the Gnar blind pick is kind of crazy.
Yeah, because now the supers can protect their bottom duo, and they get counter pick for the top lane.
But they are sort of priced in to picking a bottom duo, and so then you could see some bans to come in to try and protect this Gnar, perhaps. And so the Kenny is going to be the pickup, so a bit of a Yordle battle in the top lane.
Okay. A lot of engage here for DNS between the Pop Blossom and the Slicing Maelstrom. But they do not really yet have the global power to match double globals here for DRX. And I think without Prio in the bottom lane, it won't necessarily work out as well as they'd like to. Atalia won't be able to go topside necessarily. Or sorry, the Rise won't be able to go topside necessarily if they don't have bottom side one, and this, obviously same true in the bottom lane. Bard's taken away. I want to take away range support so that the Nico can win the lane. Jarvan has been removed, so it might be Sivir is the angle here for Geo, what they're looking for.
Yeah, it could be something like that. Nautilus going to be banned away here, so going to be looking at Docdom to see whether it is going to be Aphelios, right? And it's Docdom. He is pretty good at the multi-gun guy, as Wukong going to be taken away as well. So Pyosik going to have to dig a little bit deeper here to find a champion that he wants to play. See what it is going to be as Lee Sin. Okay, this is a Pyosik classic. Some of his best games have been on this champion in the past, but it is a little bit of a gauntlet thrown because you don't necessarily have all that much value outside of those sick big plays. And so we'll see whether he can do it. Obviously, Pyosik has done it in the past.
I mean, Varus is still up, so going for Varus just gives you a really nice ability to outrange the Nico and poke through the lane. But this could indicate something very different. Could just be the Ezreal. Still looking for the Sivir that we discussed earlier. We saw the Jarvan ban. And what's it going to be here? This draft for DNS kind of lost me a little bit along the way. See if there's a strong, powerful lane champ here for Docdom.
Oh, it's got to be Aphelios.
We just go Aphelios Nico. And this is not a safe Aphelios setup by any means. There is no front line except engage. So sure, you think about Aphelios, think, okay, got a Thresh to keep him safe, or a Lulu to keep him safe, shields, speed up, wild growth. In this case, you have a Slicing Maelstrom and a Pop Blossom to try to keep the enemy at bay. But there's a Pantheon who's just going to fly past that perhaps half of the time. There's a Weaver's Wall set up to where you can get into the backline relatively easily. There's Leona. There's a Sivir, the wave clear.
Yeah, everyone's running way faster.
I think this draft is frankly a lot of strong individual parts in terms of, okay, you got a good matchup for the Kennen. Pioshik's on a comfort pick. Rise does decent into the Talia. Ducktom's Aphelios, and Nico's one of the strongest champions on the patch. But I look at the composition, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if this works into what DRX have. I think DRX have a more robust comp that has strong win conditions and is very good at killing the Aphelios.
Yeah, I would say so too, unless they get extraordinarily far ahead, right? Then, you know, you have Severum and you can just heal through the damage and stuff like that, and it should be okay. I think Ducktom is going to have to take 3 cleanses, like every cleanse possible, just to make sure that he is going to be able to survive in the fray.
You mean Mikhail's Nico over there?
Yep, I think you're going to need one of those. Dash Cannon Mikhail's, that's what we're going to see. We'll see whether he can actually get there, as of course it's a little bit difficult to get to 2 items, but easier now that we have moved to the 2026 season. I think that what DRX have put together is looking pretty strong, but the DN Supers, like you say, right? It's a lot of comfort and it's a lot of stuff that we've seen these guys do incredibly well on, and we'll see whether that is going to be enough to get us to the 6 games on the day.
산성되었습니다.
All right, I thought we just weren't going to have DN Supers fan chant there for a second, and I was going to be very sad. Thankfully, we were patient, and it did come on through.
It did.
And also, we got into this draft incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
We've been having a little bit more ramp up so far this series, so we are just not messing around.
I don't like scaling into the draft.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I like winning the draft weight at level 1.
I also feel like we get a little bit silly during the initial pause, and then that takes a while to wear off. So a lot of seriousness now as Jiu going to go for that tempo barrier, but already down relatively low. Andil doing the same thing as Jiu just trying to damage this minion wave.
The good thing about the Aphelios Nico, even though it's not a strong like pairing necessarily in terms of team fight peel for the Aphelios or, you know, protection, it's really good when you could just sit back and chunk people with Calibrum, and the Nico is Nico. And so the Leona is kind of trying to play the game. And so you see tempo barrier as a result here from Gio, which will keep the lane competitive.
Yep. As far as the lane matchups are concerned, you already mentioned it, but it is looking pretty good for the DN Supers, and there is an Ignite on this cannon as well to make sure that Dudu can just win as much as possible. Does have that Electrocute put together as well. So
ooh, it's so valuable, though, the shield you get for Kennen when you teleport in later on.
That's
so
a good point.
Really going to need to put some real pressure on in this lane to make the Ignite feel worth it.
But I mean, that's what they're going for, right? You already illustrated that's what this composition does. It wins lanes. So I think going all in on that strategy when otherwise your composition feels wonky, then that kind of works out. You know, I'm into it.
Yeah. It's almost like a solo queue draft where everyone's playing their favorite, like one of their favorite champions because they feel like they're good. It's a good matchup for them. I like this one. Yeah, I can actually play Kennen to the Snar. Yeah, I'm a Aphelios one trick. I'm going for this. I've got the Nico. Should be fine in lane. I'm gonna scale.
It's a little bit of a realize your composition in the loading screen type scenario.
Yeah, you're like, okay, so how do we play this now?
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to find out, as the DN Supers may be able to show us, as there are going to be some tempo recalls coming on through here. 1 CS between our bottom laners. They are just going to be going back. Cull is purchased here for Jiu. And same mirrored start here as we have refillables and our Culls all done. We've seen already that the Civic can do a whole lot of work though. Smash earlier on today, really making it look good as Pioshik going to get flashed on here by Andil, going for that early roam once again. Has done this already. Shield of Daybreak does come in. Flash going to be used there from Pioshik to get out of the way of the big old spear. As Closer rotating up as well. Now it's a possible re-engage angle as there's a Zenith Blade. Yukal will be able to throw this Rise back, and Closer just a little bit in no man's land and will be taken down. First Blood goes over to Andil, so not exactly optimal here for DRX, but they'll take it. 500 gold, now the lead.
A little bit puzzling, the situation here, as Rich also gets a cheeky back with the teleport advantage he has, picks up a Null Magic Mantle, so I have a little bit of a better time in this early levels with some additional magic resistance here. Huh. So,
oh, Coach Voice. That's what led to it.
So,
yeah.
basically, overall, what this comms is from Joker is saying, like, let's use Leona to cover a potential topside play. So, sends him up to the top lane. And then this flash call from Andil seemed really silly at first because that's Lee Sin and he gets the safeguard. But he gets the additional stun here. And then Pyosik for some reason flashes the spear. Gets a little bit nervous about that. And just a little bit happy on the trigger finger. And the rest of the team is trying to collapse in and maybe set up a play, but Closer is just by his lonesome.
And they also use Closer in order to get out of dodge.
Yeah.
As you can see, yeah, Joker obviously very, very happy about how this one goes. But it felt like there was a pincer maneuver set up by the DN Supers. But Willa then gets to jump onto the rise, gets out of the way of any danger from Peter and from Dudu. And Zenith Blade then just gets Andal out to safety as well. So it's just kind of a disaster all round here for DNS.
I don't think DNS really needed to... Well, first of all, Pyosik didn't necessarily need to flash where he did, but that's a panic move as Dudu.
Yeah, that's a big old Flash has to be used to get out of the way of the boulder, as Rich is just throwing around Big Ben and having a really good time now that he's hit that Mega.
Yeah, now that Dudu doesn't have level 6, I mean, he's going to hit it in just a second here, but he lost all of his health, so he can't really utilize it for anything, so... That was a really nice timing for Rich to utilize that advantage. But I just think DNS could have just been like, oh, okay, we get out here, Pyosik flashes, but, you know, let's just go get out of the situation and not commit further, and they just kind of walk straight into First Blood on the follow-up there. And like you said, help escape did Closer the rest of the team from the collapse idea. Just a bit disjointed. The call has been bought for Jiwoo, and he is looking to just say, all right, well, push through this laning phase. I'm going to be a big late game threat. Just want to get as much money as possible, as safely as possible. And his wave clear is going to be really powerful in the mid game to help set up for objectives. That's the other thing Sivir does besides extreme boom boom damage with crit damage buffed on this patch.
Well, gonna need to pull out some sort of Hex Flash play here as Andal finds himself in a very uncomfortable position. Realm Warp, though, to try and get in here and punish him, and that's going to be Closer able to lock him down. That's Closer getting the kill as well, but there's a flick back onto Pyosik. He's in a bit of trouble as Willa looking for another round of skills, and there it is, the spear to finish him off. Gio now turns up. Red-white gun set up here for Doctom, though. He's so scary, and down goes the Pantheon. Gio has to flash. And Doctom already demonstrating the power of this pick. Yukal just not with enough damage at this stage of the game.
Yeah, Pyosik denied here, so the Dragon is not going to be taken. Dragon very angrily telling Doctom he is not going to be backing right there either. That was a very crazy set of plays on both sides that looked a little bit silly at the end, but it all starts off with a catch on Andal in the pit, right? And Pyosik's here wants to start the Dragon, but this buys a lot of time. The Realm Warp comes over here initially, and you can see Yukal is like, all right, set up here, gotta get Andal out. The rocks would actually catch Pyosik here on the follow. Then he gets hit by a shove that's really well placed, and then doesn't have flash to get the spear he needs to flash this time. Does end up dying after using the flash previously. And Gio goes super deep, trying to actually get backline access into these red-white guns, and then has to flash himself. Because the health bars are so low and another flick comes through from Yukal, they cannot actually continue to play, but a very weird situation where Pyosik is essentially putting himself out of the fight right away by going straight to those rocks.
I mean, he did interrupt Hex Flash with a Dragon. I think that's kind of cool, you know?
True!
There's something to be said for that. Outside of it, though, just demonstrating that Talia is kind of the bane of Lee Sin's existence. He kind of dashes to do everything that he wants to do. And we'll see how he's going to be able to navigate that as this game goes on. We've seen plenty of players just decide that they want to hoover up the rocks. You know, like that's how you deal with it. Plenty of Akali players really like just traveling through all of them if they can. But Peter, I think, Pyosik, I think, is going to be wanting to do something different, as we're not going to see a seismic shot, we're just going to see a ghost here from Closer to avoid any of that danger as Willa.
Yukal's
already on these grubs.
Is Ghost a dash?
Can I put down the rocks to stop him from maybe he trips over?
Must be pretty awkward to like run very quickly through those rocks, but I guess if you're, you know, if you can't...
It's like stepping stones, you know, like over a river or something like that. Maybe it's similar to that.
I think it's kind of, because it's Ghost, though, it's kind of like he just walks through the rocks and doesn't care.
Ah, sort of floats over the top.
Yeah.
Kind of into it.
Well, we do see a clone here to trip them up, but they don't care. I do think, yeah, Pyosik is doing topside right now. Oh, no, he's not. Actually, it was taken already. My apologies. I misread the UI.
That is a very cute ward position.
He is maybe going to make something happen here. Like, this is such a tricky angle that maybe less chance of that now.
Oh, God, yeah.
The deep bait? Like, the real insane bait?
Actually, possible? Never mind. He throws another clock, and that is Pyosik just going back to base.
He could have, like, I don't know, flashed the wall, taken a turret shot, looked for a kick flank angle, maybe.
Could have been something. And Dudu invested his Ignite there, right? Like, they really kind of wanted to commit, and then obviously someone called it off. And so Rich is going to be A-OK, still has Flash available. He's still got his Gnar, of course. And I think he's going to be pretty happy with the lane state at the minute. Currently behind only a few CS, as Dudu not going to be teleporting to any lanes or anything like that. Hasn't finished the quest yet. And so does home guard his way back up there. Isn't going to miss out on too much, but now might be in trouble as UCal and Andal are going to show up.
I mean, maybe Joker told him to cover topside again, because they're all up there doing it again. Grand Starfault, they're ready for Willer. This Gnar, or sorry, this Kennen is ultless, and so vulnerable to a Gnar setup with a potential Pantheon follow-through. So for DNS, they have to be very cautious right now. And, I mean, even the flash for the Kennen isn't necessarily going to save him, as this Sivir wave clear is already starting to hit in the bottom lane.
Oh, yeah. Rich takes a turret shot. Isn't going to be too worried about it here, as there are 3 men strong.
Look at all the vision around the Baron pit. Like, they have so much deep vision in the jungle. It's like they're map hacking. Like, they can see everything. They decide to call off the play here. But they can stay like this because they're like, where is Pyosik? Is he coming up? Who are these players?
Yeah. Where's Pyosik?
Yeah, exactly.
Very good point. Well, he's actually on the top side of the map. There are 2 of him. I can see plenty of Pyosik right now.
Not currently in Challengers.
Yep, true. Dudu doesn't manage to stop the back. Teleport is just going to bring Rich back in there. And so DRX have a very small lead. And not too much more to talk about here in this game. Yet to be broken open. Feeling a lot better than the way DNS were looking in game number 1, but still going to have to see some more as Hyperproc comes in. And Mertreads really makes Rich feel a whole lot better. We check out the replay here, and this was just a little bit of a dive potential setup. As, yeah, the flash does get used to get out of the way of the Gnar.
Yeah, the initial Gnar doesn't hit, and then see the flash traded. And that's the end of that. Andal
grabbed him to set up for this play potentially as Gio comes over, but I think Andal is just dead. He flashes anyway. Optimistic at best. And the Leona will be taken down. So DNS looking a lot better in this moment, evening out the gold.
Not ideal for DRX here, as DNS will grab the Dragon, as Rich continues to try to get an advantage up here on the top side, but this was the answering Kennen pick that is not really finding much outside of defending the turret thus far. Dragon is going to go over. Let's see what we get second here. It will be the Cloud Drake.
Ooh,
so
is it
possibly
another mountain?
One more ocean as well.
Oh, yeah. Love to see that.
In this scenario, I mean, really just, I mean, he was a bit deep trying to set up vision. We know that's DRX's whole game plan. With the way we came into it, looked pretty bad, but watching it a second time was just caught there with limited information, being a support.
Yep, they also didn't want to commit to anything there.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Andal would then try to throw out a Solar Flare to set up for a Weaver's Wall and the Grand Skyfall, but Willa didn't have the ultimate available, and so they couldn't actually go for the play.
He got the achievement.
Good timing.
He got the achievement to unlock Hex Flash.
There you go, beautiful.
On the play, so.
And Gio just managed to get that cannon. So his whole performance has really turned around. As Andal looking to make his way in, there's a Zenith Blade to hold up Closer. But he's able to proc the Ghost and get himself out of there. Well, a little bit late to that one.
Yeah, I guess the rock or the shove was already used. 100% sure if he used it on camera or not, but used it here on the Scuttle Crab. Either way, it wasn't a near kill onto Closer. They did not get his flash, but they get the Ghost. And this game has been, once again, like outside of a few crazy scraps, a little bit of a tug of war where a vision game for DRX is superior.
Ooh, cute
One thing they don't
comes
see,
in, there's
though.
a slicing Maelstrom. The Gnar pushes him back, and there is the Q connecting from Pyosik. Willa turns up, but then he realizes he doesn't really want to be here. Q going to connect there from Pyosik, who does go in. UCal's in position, though. As the stun comes down, flash out there as they see the Realm Warp, and they do not want any of it. Nicely played defensively at the end, but really good gank there from the DN Supers.
Yeah, definitely a lot of plays here for DRX that have nearly been well coordinated, right? The play where they almost got Closer in the mid lane. This trap they were trying to set with the Rich push there, where they're like, aha, we had the Pantheon ult, but the vision they didn't have, they had vision almost everywhere on the map of where Pyosik was what really did them in there. You can see also Yukal was in position to Weaver's wall in, but opted not to once he realized the fight was lost before he even got there.
Oh, there's Zenith Blade in from Andil, but this is red-white guns on Doctom. Andil is dead, right? Yeah, Doctom just able to kill him there in the 1v1 underneath the turret. Red-white don't fight, DRX. You know this.
That was very peculiar, but he did unlock a turret plate achievement as well.
He did definitely get that. Pioshik's making his way down though. There's the flash. Really good use of the spell shield, but it does not matter. There's a kickback, and Pioshik will be able to lock down the Sivir as well. DN Super's coming alive here in game number 2.
Pioshik, bit of a funny start in this one, but he is certainly starting to really make an impact on the map now. It's the two shades of Pioshik, right?
Yep.
He either carries the game or he costs you the game.
And like, this is the champion that he carries games on as well.
Even though the very early game, I was a little bit concerned that it wasn't going to look that way. Look at how long he waits here. There's vision in that left side brush. But when Rich goes in to look for the Gnar, because he knows the Pantheon's coming up, he's trying to set up a Willer gank. But what he didn't know was Willer's gank was basically a late counter gank, unknown. And then he just has to walk away and flash away later. This is a little bit funky because Sivir just doesn't do that much damage yet. And as Gio is leaving is when Andil sees the angle to go in.
Yeah, I think Gio said, I missed my boomerang. And that's so much damage missing from the engage.
And then Gio can't get out anymore. So Spell Shield, as you mentioned, was good on the Pop Blossom, but he has to then die to the kick because he doesn't have any Spell Shield anymore.
Yeah, just kind of wishes that he had more opportunities than that, as Weave as well does bring Yukal towards the top side of the map. Dudu able to make his way out though, uses the flash, slicing Maelstrom, everything, as the eye is being defended here by DNS. As let's see, Andil is going to face check. Pioshik makes his way over. Gio now looking for a bit of an angle here as Andil flashes out of the way. Good shove to protect their support as Pioshik almost down. Has, not quite able to get enough of these Beyblades over the top, and now Gio could find himself in an awkward position. Man drop comes down as Willer looks to try and stop Peter. Pop Blossom comes on forward. He stacked up the Q though, just needs to land it. He will not, but just the edge of the Boomerang Blade, and down will go the Nico. I believe the eye is going to mean that Shelly does not play a part in today's second game, which is very sad.
I think it got picked up.
Oh, they did! Never mind, Willer got it.
Oh, he ultimately get it in the end. And the chaos that ensued.
I'm very glad, because when Shelly doesn't get to play the game, it's just really sad.
I think there was one game this this last week where the Herald was just not killed at all. Which
oh, really?
Crazier.
Wow, that's really
when Barrett spawned. But Andil, it gets up to being taken down incredibly low, but he baits Pioshik in this awkward spot. The Ricochet almost takes Pioshik out there. But now this is a really tough fight for the side of DNS. Gio has to use his barrier, but then the follow-up comes through from Willer. And it gets really tricky here, like, can I hit the Q? Cannot.
Rich almost died to Doctom as well.
But he kept Doctom at bay to a certain extent there. Yukal shows up, they have to retreat. Does not die, ultimately, like you were saying, he nearly did. And now we're going back to clearing waves in the mid lane. Still a pretty good position in this game for DNS.
Yep.
Especially
they will be able to get a double dragon as well.
Exactly, double dragon here for them. And we'll see what the soul is, because DNS are hoping for a high roll with this turret disappearing.
Well, it's going to be Kensec, so not exactly the best.
Kind of okay for Aphelios?
Yeah, and it's kind of okay for some of the shields. There's a Seraphs that's getting built. I mean, there are angles here. This turret is going to go down in the mid lane. Closer is looking to answer on the bottom side, but it's a trade up for DRX.
Yeah, 2 for 1 here. And it looks like that might take even an extra wave to go down on the bottom side. It's going to be close, as I think it should still go down. And Yukal is going to play defensively, so it will. But the scaling Sivir versus scaling Aphelios argument is really interesting, because both of these 80 carries are insanely big benefactors of the new patch and the new crit damage. However, I think the Aphelios is stronger at dealing damage when his guns are set at red and white. But that doesn't necessarily matter if the Sivir setup is better and they have a more frontline for it. And that's kind of what I'm feeling is going to happen, because there's so many threats to kill Doctom in this game. He only has 1 flash, he only has 1 cleanse. And let's see what happens with this shove.
Yeah, there's a kickback onto Yukal. He's real dead. Not sure about what the goal was there, as Ando going to get tagged by a Sonic Wave as well. Willer in the area, Gio rotating down. There's a teleport in from the cannon, but Rich is here already. 3-man Pop Blossom is great from Peter, but he's just dead. Not an angle that he can actually fight in, and Dudu is so far away. Pioshik looks for it, but there is a Gnar into the wall. And the Lee Sin does have to do some shenanigans to get himself out. They get the stun onto Dudu. Slicing Maelstrom, though, is going to be the end of Andil. And finally, Doctom shows up, and he's got the right guns to do it. Gio now with the Boomerang Blade, but they're not going to be able to close in. Still 3 on the floor, and just in trade for Peter, DNS will take that.
I just want to remind everyone that this is just a big fight on the bottom lane with no objectives nearby. It was a big tug-of-war fight when both teams have insane setup in CC and globals. Just one little tug-of-war game down here, one little shove attempt that goes too deep means every single player on the map. Watch the 80 carries rush down with a cannon TP. Everyone's like, all right, well, if we don't actually win this war of attrition, they win. They'll get that bottom turret. We have to commit further. The Pop Blossom here initially feels like it's a big fail, but it ends up doing a decent amount of damage and kind of selling the idea to DRX that this play is actually winnable. They commit with an R here onto Pyosik, then flashes and W's away, and now they're way too deep into a cannon.
Well, now we've got a bit of an angle as Doctom could be in trouble. Solar Flare doesn't work, but that is a threaded volley that is going to be able to take down Doctom. He had to use Flash as well. A huge deal here to grab that first death for Doctom.
It's such a question for the rest of this game for DNS to answer. And really, not even DNS necessarily. It's
how do Doctom not die?
Yeah, how do Doctom live?
Yeah, that's a tough. I don't have the answer to that one. Handle just going to flash in, does manage to find the angle here, even through the flash. And Dudu not able to get too much value here, as Gio wanted to be able to get that last auto, but Yukal, he outranged the Slicing Maelstrom, so he's the one that gets the kill. Rich deals with the turret towards the bottom side, and DRX, this is that mid to late game macro that has just been so much better than DNS so far this series.
And the question is now becoming not just how do Doctom live, as we'll watch here, he does not live. Pantheon comes through, flashes, guess what? Still got stunned, still got hit with the Solar Flare, and a ton of bursts from Yukal. And then, how do anyone live if everyone engage? It's a flash in from Andil, shove hits, any single target can be blown up, so they have to play together, but they don't have great frontline. It's, like I said, the Kennen ult and the Nico ult from Dudu and Peter that are your best tools of deterrence.
And it's not looking like it's really working out. But a lot of it is to do with the fact that DNS haven't necessarily looked quite as coordinated. They did have a much better early game this time around, but even still, you had Pop Blossom being used when there was no Aphelios or Kennen involved. I feel like the way Peter needs to engage is when Dudu is ready to get massive damage. As now Yukal is likely to be dead again. Pyosik able to set up for that one. Does get flung back, but he will still be able to go down. Closer will be able to grab his 4th kill of the game. This rise will be very scary.
It's actually a pretty crazy, it's almost a Baron angle, but Doctom can't really get access. There's not enough time. They don't have any mid-prio. If Doctom was able to control the mid-wave, if he was playing, Sivir, if Sivir was on DNS's side, for example, and he had that wave control while they got that pick, they could have maybe turned into a Baron. He has IE, but unfortunately it's not really going to work out that way because Yukal doesn't have teleport. He has Weaver as well, but that can only get you so far. But it looks like his death is not really going to be punished by DNS outside of the gold they pick up from his corpse.
And does have Weaver's Wall as well, so he can get back to a lot of the different fights that will be happening.
I think they'll have enough time to get back to this dragon with how slow this, how it spawned, and DNS haven't really set up very directly on it, as Rich is already here, as you can see.
Yep. Moves on over. That is going to be Graviton, though. Does avoid the Moonshot, I believe. Yes, that is a Calibrum. And Yukal will now find his way back. So an honest 5v5 here between these two squads. Looking for a bit of poke damage to start this one off.
Let's see where the Pop Blossom and the Slicing Maelstrom go this time around.
Exactly.
Rich needs to charge another Nar bar. He does not have it, as the observers are showcasing all 10 big ultimates online for what could be the deciding fight here of this game, now potentially of the series. Willer!
Oh, Willer just dives in, looks for Dudu. Solar Flare going to slow him down. As now Gio looking for an angle, but he's kind of lonely at this point in time. Boomerang Blade's sort of missing all over the place, but there's a Weaver's Wall from Yukal. Pop Blossom as Peter finds 3, and they take down Gio to start the fight. Rich now looking to try and take down the Nico, but this is so dire as Doctom has so much protection. Both of the damage dealers are now on the floor, and DRX, you flubbed that one.
Yeah, they really did. They just were not able to get consistently set up to do the damage with Gio. He was kind of going in by himself, as Willer was able to get a lot of health bar, but not actually as secure. That was
pretty
closer than I think it would have made Pyosik comfortable. But at the end of the day, it's sole point here for DNS, and they take back control of the game and the gold lead with this trade of kills. They're also going to grab this mid-turret, some additional plate gold for their carries. But Willer's idea here is very risky and it's very greedy, because look at where Gio is right now. To follow up is certain death, right? So
yeah, Gio needed to be with the other guys.
Exactly, and if the Maelstrom comes out at that moment, I think this might have even been more one-sided as Peter leaps into the arms of his old AD carry partner, takes him out. Will die for it. Rich is like, I'm an AD carry. Well, not really in this fight, and they don't have any friends as Andil is long gone.
Yeah, he got the heck out of there.
The one who started it all off just cannot really do anything for them. It's not the deciding fight of the game, but it definitely puts DNS back in the driver's seat.
And this is exactly how fights need to look for DNS as well. They need to find Pop Blossoms and get enough damage. There's a kick. Beautiful knock-up onto Andil as well as Yukal has to flash to get himself out of the way. There is a mega disengage cone up and available as Pioshik not going to quite find the Q, but Closer, he finds it, and down will go Yukal. Now Willa just desperately trying to leave, and DRX are very quickly falling apart.
This is starting to be...
Joker, where is the coach call? We need the coach call right now.
It's like a Baron angle.
Oh, and Doctom is not going to lose health. He can probably tank it, to be perfectly honest.
Lost his red gun.
All right, DRX now moving in. These health bars are going down. But let's see, there's so much damage. There's a Solar Flare onto Doctom, but he's not too worried about it. Willer is on vision as Peter doesn't find the Pop Blossom, but it was all zoning. As now into the backline goes Dudu. Andil is going to be able to lock him up as Rich should be able to take down the cannon. Never mind, he just flashes away, and Gio is dead yet again. Yukal just now respawning. The Willer is also going to suffer the same fate. Nice sidestep there from Rich, but it's too little, it's too late. It's a 6,000 gold lead. They have Soul Point, and there is the kick back onto Rich. He should be dead. Hop comes through, and there's the flash, so he survives.
The Dragon fight might not have been, but I do think this was the deciding game here, or the game-deciding fight here for DNS to bring us to a third and final game, our sixth of the day.
Yeah,
that's the Baron that goes over on
is
top
this our
of the Dragon.
first sixth gamer?
I think it is, if I'm not mistaken.
And I looked at Pony this morning, and I was like, Pony, it's 6 games today, and he's like, I've been going to the gym. I've got the stamina. I am ready for it. So Pony's going to get his wish here today. By the looks of things, obviously, you know, we shouldn't be counting chickens and things like that, but it's a 7.5 thousand gold lead, approximately.
I'm pretty ready to count the chickens.
How many chickens are there, Wolf?
7.4 thousand.
That's so many chickens.
I mean, give or take, it's been oscillating between 7.3 thousand and 7.5 thousand. But
that's.
I did a rough count.
You could solve a famine with that. Was that a Sonic Wave steal of a big Krug?
I didn't. I was looking at chickens.
Sorry. That makes sense. I did ask you about the chickens, so I appreciate that.
But it might have been.
That was a test to make sure that you were paying attention to the chickens and not the Sonic Wave.
Rich is looking to eliminate some chickens.
Oh.
Watch them go.
Wow, that was so many chickens. The crystalline the chicken line overgrowth. Is that what you're talking about?
I mean, the chickens are still going up because
yeah,
there's a farm in 2 lanes and a big plate to go down here for close of the final one of that inner turret will be, the whole turret is TP flank from Rich is optimistic. He's got only a little bit of Gnar left.
All right. They look for Closer, but he's just going to press Ghost and gets himself the heck out of there.
Who was he flanking?
Is he still flanking?
Nah, Poolbay is, though.
Yeah, he certainly is. Where is Poolbay?
He's going to jump into the LCK at any moment.
Well, I personally would like to see it. All right, Weaver's War going to come down here as they're looking for Doctom, and he just gets stunned up and denied entry. Out goes Pioshik, and DNS playing some really nice defense.
Yeah, they're just like, you can't reach him, so... And he's got Flash and Cleanse, so... Oh, good luck with that.
As a big old Gnar as Dudu gets thrown into the wall. There is the stun from Willer at the same time. The slicing Maelstrom still goes off. And now the fight is going to start. Pioshik gets on top of his target, and Willer is going to be taken down. Yukal, unfortunately, just hasn't done much of anything this game, and will once again die as an afterthought. And DNS, man, they're making this one look good. Doctom on his signature pick,
I mean,
he's going to pick up a win with it.
You can see the intent in DRX's actions. Try to get on Doctom. Oh, can't quite reach him. Okay, the cannon's in range. We blow him up because we've seen so many of these mid-game fights where they just single target blow somebody up, but they're just too far behind now. They can't kill Dudu in time. He's got his Maelstrom, and they're just fighting tooth and nail to try to get anything back. And the end result is their base is alive, but they did not make progress. We'll watch this again. Look at this, Rich into Dudu. Willer's coming over. Lots of chain CC, but where is the damage?
Yeah, and where is everyone else? Like, Yukal is on a third of his health bar, and I believe, yeah, someone looked at him and Yukal died. Yeah, there he goes.
Jiu was trying to help clear the wave, so in the mid-game, that's enough damage there with the Pantheon to kill that cannon. But at this stage, it absolutely is not. It's too much health. He's level 16. He does not care. He smirks at your attempted Gnar into Pantheon.
Oh, that sounds rude. All right, well.
He says it's my year, baby.
Closer is also saying, I'm going to have this year as well. But you had 2025. It'll be okay. Regardless, that is 3 items done for the Kennen, 3 items on Pyoshik as well, having a great game today. 1-1 and 14. 15 out of 17 as far as the kill contribution. Feels very, very nice.
Started with the flash of a spear and ended with just running the entire game.
Exactly. And he's looked really, really good. The defensive play, like we already illustrated it, it was going to be difficult in this game, right? Defending this Aphelios could be tough.
All right, we're flanking again. Maybe this time we'll get that pesky rat.
Maybe they can do it. Flash is available, though, for Dudu, so it is still going to be a very difficult task.
He also has ult still as well.
All right. Well, Rich has Wit's End, so let's see. 2 inhibitors now going down, though, as DNS just playing this one by the book. Looking to close in. There's a super minion making his way down. 1 minute until the Baron, though. Might be that DNS are just going to back away. Look for that one again. It's, oh my god, the damage from Dokdom.
It is impressive that DNS were able to make this comp work. They were able to defend Dokdom. He became a huge threat. His positioning was phenomenal. But I'm also impressed with the fact that DRX are still in this game. Like, they know that if DNS overstep just a little bit, they can actually, you know, potentially get those picks. They've tried so many times and failed, right? But if the coordination is a little bit better, or if the damage dealers are actually there when that Pantheon Gnar goes through, they can get a multi-man shove and somehow miraculously steal the game away, right? But everyone has flash on DNS, so it's going to be really tough. But DNS are like, you know what? Like, I don't like ending the game here. I don't like staying around. They have too many tools to wrap around. There's too many flank opportunities with Pantheon Talia. Let's just back off and look for the Baron, like you were alluding to, and controlling that space is certainly the safer play. Maybe learning a little bit from the DNF 10,000 gold lead that didn't go so well last year.
I mean, right now they don't have a mid laner. Yukal's 3 levels behind, 4.5 thousand gold behind. Rich is flanking, I guess, as Dokdom. Let's see whether he can survive this one. He flashes, Yukal goes golden, but look at the AoE from this guy. Just presses Q with Severum and everyone's dead. Jiu likely to go down as well. Does manage to pick up a little Pikachu on his way out, but that is going to be Closer flashing for it. Willa manages to get one, but it's Dokdom at full health that completes the ace, and that is going to be the end of the game.
I liked the peel from support Kennen and support Nico as they try to kill Dokdom and fail miserably. I told you guys the front line, it's the ultimates, and it's also the positioning of Dokdom. I did not believe. I was not a believer. I thought this composition just was too risky, too many ways to kill the Aphelios. Dokdom says, no, not today. Yeah, the elite 80 carry, and the rest of his team propped him up in a big way in this game.
Not to mention, like, Closer almost had a flame horizon in that game. Yukal was made basically irrelevant. So the Pantheon Talia this time around just got nothing done at all. Man, it's pretty impressive stuff. And maybe it is the year of Dudu in the end, because the Kennen counterpick looked really nice. When I saw Blind Gnar come in, I was like, no one does that. Why does no one do that? Maybe it's because they can just get Kennen at a moment's notice.
Well, it didn't look like it was working at first, but it did ultimately end up having a much larger impact than Rich later on, even though the laning phase was going really well. It's that time period, you can see it on the gold difference there between like 19 and 22 minutes, where if you were a DNS fan, you're like, oh, no, we don't throw this away. Because it looked like maybe there were just a few too many threats and the side lanes were not getting back into their control. But once we got to 5v5 team fights, Duckers had too much support.
Yeah, looked really good. They managed to pick themselves up the Dragon Soul as well, and they bring us to the coveted 6th game. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a short break for the last time this evening, and then we have, of course, the lovely gentleman on the space to break down that game, and then the deciding one between DNS and DRX. We'll see you there.
이거.
나를 보자.
다른 잡았거든? 야 본대
앞에
맞아.
볼게. 나 앞에 찍게.
나 맞아. 안 죽어.
앞라인 맞아. 앞라인 맞아. 달려.
잡았어. 오케이. 나루도 잡았어. 오케이. 이거 가면 끝날 듯? 이거 가자.
내가 11을 뚫을게.
야 아니 이거 꿀열매 때문에 방어가 안 타지네. 강 잡는 건데.
Those are the
I
three
think-
main archetypes.
That's kind of how it works. Well, let's see exactly what DRX can make of it. I did like the analysis on the space about the fact that if you do choose second pick, then you do get counters, and then you can just try and win lanes. Sort of what we saw out of DNS in game number 2. So DRX going to do their best in order to replicate that, as we have Rumble and Malphite being taken away here. I assume Jace will follow, and Besser is a good ban, as is the Vi that we did see in game number 2. We'll see what is going to change, though, if anything, moving into this one, as Brad is taken away.
Goodbye. VAR has taken away some of these lane bullies.
Oh, well, someone was listening to a did.
Jace, not banned.
Okay,
So it's got to be banned here.
surely. Unless they feel like they can do what D+ did, which is beat Jace. Could be the way.
Could be the way. They think they can beat it, but it was beaten with Vi. This time they banned the Vi and give the Jace.
That seems like a potentially bad thing to do. But let's see whether it
They
pays
don't
off.
want Pyoshik to play Hecarim. They're like, yeah,
Aha.
play this instead. It's the trap set.
Well, this is already dire straits for Willa. But the Aurora is going to be the decision here for most likely Yukal in that mid lane. We haven't seen her top side for quite some time.
This is a really strange situation because Jace is powerful for all the reasons we listed in the previous series, but it's still relatively unexplored territory in terms of the well-roundedness of how you can build compositions, because the comp we saw earlier didn't have engage, right? It was really cool. They got Jace, they shot a lot of shock blasts, and then got engaged on and died. The Vi was not picked this time by DRX, but they get the Jarvan. So that's one form of engage.
Yep.
Squishy Jace, so that feels relatively good.
Well, Cassante, bit of a look here. The Dusante that we have praised in the past could be a scary one, and does provide them with a bit of a front line as Zoe. That
that's
is
a lot
what
of
Showmaker decided to do and lost.
There is a possibility this Jace is top still.
True.
Let's see. We'll probably find out right here. The Jarvan already locked in. But
Man, I'm
it would be
intrigued.
blind, of course, and the Cassante is going to get taken instead, so
Malzahar.
is fake and not real and can't hurt you.
It can. It certainly can.
I don't think it's real.
It's been here for a while. It's still looking at me.
I think it's just a bug.
I think Malzahar is going to now describe what the history of the Void is. Because we were asking Kassadin to do it, and I think that Malzahar might be better at it. As instead, we've got some Shadow Isles, as Gwen is going to be locked away, and so that will confirm that we do have the Aurora in the mid lane.
Aurora into Zoe feels pretty decent. You have the Gwen into the Cassante, which is a really nice matchup. A lot of side lane power. Great follow-up to a Cataclysm with both of these champions. So let's see what kind of setup Duckdom and Peter are looking for in the bottom side of the map. This is something that both teams are looking for. Obviously, there's a bottom 2v2. Do you prioritize blocking out some supports? I think if you're DN Supers, probably you should be if you're planning on playing a scaling carry. The Nautilus ban screams, I'm going to play Zeri.
True.
But they banned Misfortune, which is something I mentioned in the previous series, I think really rising in popularity right now. I think it's only a matter of time before we see this start to come out here in the LCK a little bit. It's really good with Jarvan and with Aurora, so that's probably why they do ban it.
I imagine Gio probably thinking about a Zeri angle himself. Could be one of those options here.
I mean, there's so much engage gone, right? Leona's gone, Nautilus is gone, the Rel is now gone.
All right.
So it feels very safe to play Zeri here. Maybe you should ban it, DN Super, especially because you're playing a poke comp.
Could be something that they're looking for. Let's see what this final ban is going to be. Ezreal's still up as well. I think that's something that DNS would really like to pick themselves. And so it could be a denial for DRX if they do want to go that angle, but instead the Ashe is going to be taken away.
That's actually a pretty good one. Very safe. can even set up the Cataclysm into big damage in a circle.
Well, let's see what this next pick is going to be. Likely, Gio going to be picking away the champion that he wants to be playing
Zeri
here.
or Ezreal are the two safest picks, but instead, a little bit of burst damage. I was saying earlier, I would not have been happy watching Gio play Lucian last year, but this year, especially his form right now in LCK Cup, I'll trust it.
All right, well, I don't know whether it necessarily fits the composition or what they're facing at the moment.
They have
a bit worried about it.
Braum in this draft, obviously, but there's still the Nami, which I don't think is really something you can pick away. But Lulu is also available. They could just play a Lulu lane into this Lucian Nami if they want. Doesn't work extremely well with the rest of this composition. This is where things get a little tricky. Oh, we're doing this again. Actually, Kalista Renata goes really hard into Gwen Jarvan.
That is a really good point. Gwen can immune the hostile takeover in theory, but I do feel like having a lot of lane presence with a composition like this that really wants to get ahead, poke comps from behind, just kind of do nothing. So a good idea to have a powerful bottom lane, but we did see that the Lucian Nami can actually go toe-to-toe at certain instances in the lane. So you do have to be very careful with how you play it out. Dr. and Peter are going to have to grab that synergy that they built on KT together and really make this one work.
I think, remember earlier when we had the D+ series, like, oh, this game is going to be one side, one way or the other. There's always going to get massively ahead, or they won't, and they'll lose the game. This is a little bit more nuanced than that, because sure, there is the Gwen side lane angle. There's a bit of scaling damage in this Aurora that's relatively safe, and the Lucian is going to be a late game threat, but so will the Kalista, I think, in terms of matching it. I think this game is going to be a bloody game, is what I'll say, more than I think it's going to be an extremely one-sided game. I think we're going to see a lot of skirmishes. I think they could go relatively even, and I think it's going to be possibly the highest kill game we see today. That's my forecast going into this one, because we have a lot of champions that want to spike in the mid-game and run with that spike, so there's not going to be a whole lot of avoiding fights. There's going to be a lot of opportunistic searching for fights.
Yeah, I do think that if it is like a skirmish-heavy game, though, I think that the DN Supers are feeling pretty good about it. With this style of composition, I think they want to kind of scrap with uneven fights and set things up for themselves. If they can get out to a lead utilizing that, that could be an opportunity. But I think there is some stability with what DRX have put together. And so if they can hold them at bay, there's going to be an opportunity here. Having a look at this draft, it's more reminiscent to what we have been seeing a fair bit of so far this season. And so let's see what Joker has for us here as we get onto the Rift for Game 3. All right, here we are. DRX fans in full voice. DN Supers as well being well represented here at the Chijijik LOL Park.
So, Atlas.
Yes.
Let's play a fun game.
I love fun games. They're my favorite kinds of games.
I think it's the type of game that you might find fun.
Okay. Is it a tower defense?
No, but it is kind of a guessing game or an education game.
Okay.
You know? The type of game that if League of Legends was on Sesame Street, they would probably play.
Okay. I do like Sesame Street.
How much engage the DN Supers have on their composition, do you think?
An. I think they have an engage.
Wouldn't that be the handshake or potential like Cassante?
Oh, I guess flash handshake. I was just gonna say Fate's Call. Just throw Peter
Fate's
at
Call. Okay, so we're looking at a similar situation to the last time we saw the Jace, right? Where it's like a lot of poke, but
do you need to engage if you have a range advantage?
If you have a range advantage, you don't need to engage, but that's only if you can see, right? So that requires map control. That's kind of why I like DRX's comp more in this situation, because they have a Jarvan. Nami is, you know, her ultimate and Renata's ultimate do fairly similar things, but the bubble can follow up on a flag and drag, for example. There's some chaining there is.
Okay, Willet just walks away. The little Krugs, though, are going to get denied. So there is that. So invade, going to be in vain for now.
Leashing the enemy bottom duo to get extra money.
There we go. Well, now you got Gio and Andal in a better position here in this lane. As you can see, Peter and Doctarm did need to give up lane control by moving over here. So big wave going to be moving its way forward. UCal having a pretty good time here up against Closer in lane for the moment. We'll see whether these bubbles are going to connect and things like that. as Willa now moving back towards his bottom side. We'll be able to claim his Wolves and Gromp. Pyosik still dealing with the red buff. Will now be able to move down towards his bottom side as well, and does have a little bit of a speedier clear for the minute.
Electrocute here versus the Airy. Just aggressive trades on both sides. How many of these shock blasts are we going to see Pyosik hit? We saw almost all of them hit for Sponge in the early game last time around.
He did a very good job.
And that's, you know, why we were joking that they've increased the amount of Korean Jaces quickly.
Well, let's see whether Pyosik is going to be one of them as well. As Yukao going to take a nap momentarily. And with
Ghostblade
finding a Ghostblade, yeah, exactly. Flash does come out as Closer looks for it. He'll find it, and they go 1 for 1. But first blood over to the Zoe, and Closer feeling real good about how this lane is going.
Yeah, that was a near opportunity there with the flash pickup to maybe get out, but he's just too low. He has to all in at that moment when Willer is spotted, because otherwise he will die, and also give an assist before he can get the kill on Yukao. So he just does it as quickly as possible there. Not in an opportune moment to really get tons of value of that flash at that state when he did pick it up. But it was a cool idea.
Yep.
He's holding it now.
Very nicely done. Also denying the assist is fantastic.
Yeah, super important.
So having a look towards the top side of the map, Dudu has actually evened out the CS, but it was an earlier back for him. Teleports back in. Same thing to be said for Rich as he makes his way back forward. He does have a Ruby Crystal and an Amp Tome now complete.
All right, Shock Blast.
Oh, it doesn't actually connect. As we're going to check this one out from Closer's perspective, just finds the Sleepy Trouble Bubble and Ghostblades at him.
Looked a little janky there, but that's Zoe.
Yep.
Closer picks up the flash just a second too late.
And I think the turret shot was in the air, so doesn't need to worry about it. Just makes sure that he is out of the way of the Jarvan. As Andel looking for a little bit of an angle here as once again double bubble. Oh, golly. Okay, well, Closer just... that's how you get out of the way. You just walk. That'll do it.
I mean, he's got tier 2 boots. They're made for walking.
Yeah, I guess maybe he runs. Or at least, like, power walks.
Power walking, yeah, I think.
I think you run when you're home guarding, but it's more of a power walk if you've got boots too. There's an all-out here from Dudu. Flash from Rich. He wants none of this, as he doesn't have level 6 yet. Yukao going to have to go back to base once again.
Closer is crushing this lane.
I mean, honestly, ever since the beginning of Game 2, Closer has just been all over the matchup.
He really is, and I mean, he's got cooldown boots, and he is using them quite well to maximize his cooldowns. He actually looks like he's going to maybe even get a plate here. This massive wave. Not sure if he hit that turret or not.
Yeah.
We're going to be a mystery for the time being.
Kalista is so echoey.
Yeah, she needs to... You know, turn down the echo from, you know, it's like the Noribong where you have the echo set.
Yeah, like too much reverb, man.
Yeah, turn that down a little bit.
Oh, missed. Okay, so not quite Sponge. Not quite Sponge.
That, Jay speaks a little bit of English, actually.
And as it turns out, he does. Nicely done. As he was
Mark, come on.
He was the jungler before Umpty.
Yeah.
Very cute. Okay. Gio and Andal doing a decent job here towards his bottom side, actually with a little bit of a CS advantage over the Kalista Renata. But I think as skirmishes start to unfold later on, that is when we're going to see a lot of this Renata value from Peter. We'll see how he is actually going to be able to play it out. We know that he is pretty good at this champion from what we saw on KT and Nongshim as well back in the day. As Gio going to get pierced momentarily.
Do see a ward here for Rich, but okay, I thought we were going to see a bit collapse to try to get on top of him. This is a aggressive move from Jiwoo.
Yeah, there's the culling. Oh, flash out of the way. The Aqua Prison here as the rest of DNS now trying to turn this one around. There's the Rend. There's Dr. Oh, okay, some needlework here towards his top side as well as Dudu going down low, but Pyosik is in the area. Flash comes forward, and Rich realizing what's going on here. He doesn't have Flash, and he denies. Oh, never mind, he doesn't. That's actually the kill picked up for Pyosik. And DNS continuing to find advantages as Peter and Dr. Let's see how this dive's going to go as Willa makes his way down. He's got Cataclysm available, gets the knock up onto Dr. and slam dunk as the Kalista is taken down. Peter, for some reason, decided to bail himself out. And unfortunately, that is not going to quite work as Jiu just finishes off the kill, and that's a clean dive.
Yeah, a bit of a panic there, I think. That was kind of what I was alluding to on the top side there about what I thought was going to happen to Rich. It did eventually eventuate there, as we'll watch it again. He was pushed up super far. He has this ward, has an aggressive position, looks for the all-in, and then promptly shows up Pioshik. And Pioshik this time hits. So as you mentioned, the assist is going to go through. It's on the wrong side of this one.
Yeah.
And then down here, you know, we did see both summoners used by Peter just a moment before. No bailout for the 80 carry. Peter will promptly die as well.
Yeah, Gio just waits for the bailout to conclude and will then just destroy the Renata pretty comfortably.
It was a very bizarre situation, and even the moment before where we saw DuckTom and Peter go in, Gio did not flash for barrier despite using his culling, and I thought they could have even played that more aggressively, but they wanted to guarantee it was going to go well. They end up sending their jungler over. As things going well are not this mid lane for UCal.
No. I would say that one's going quite well for Closer.
Yes.
Who's just portal jumping around, having a really good time. I feel like Zoe was Aurora before Aurora was released, right? With the way that Between Worlds works. As DuckTom getting taken down a little bit. But looks like Gio's not going to be following up with too much more, just putting that culling on cooldown.
Bit of a warning culling.
Yeah, something like that. It's not exactly doing the most, though, as both ultimates available here for the DN Super's bottom lane. And jungle is in position as well. Willa moving down.
If they have to maintain Prio if they want to 3v3 this, and they will, and then potentially rotate over. But Willer does have his ultimate, so this is very scary.
Yeah, Pioshik does have that dragon leashed. Should be able to take this one down. First Drake of the game over to DNS, but now Willa makes his way in. Hostile takeover. Gets rid of Willa for the moment, but UCal was trying to come down. He does go between the worlds. Fate's Call comes on through. DuckTom looking to try and get bailed out, but it does not work, and UCal's even going to survive. Shock Blast, not quite enough damage. And out goes the Aurora. That is 2 swift kills, but the Drake goes over to DNS.
It was, you know, a bit rocky there in terms of the setup. Could have just been happy with taking the dragon. As we'll see coach voice, actually.
All right.
Talking about Callista.
Yep, trying to see.
It's going to be tough now, but hold on.
All right, making sure that they keep their heads in the game. And I think UCal probably needs the most kind words out of Joko.
So this fight here, like I was saying, they have the Renata ultimate, but you know, Willer is here and he's a Jarvan, right? UCal actually is able to utilize his ultimate to avoid the pressure as well as get on top of DuckTom. UCal plays this incredibly well. And they just have more tools. They don't even have to use all of them.
Yeah.
And ends up being 2 kills here in trade for Dragon, mind you, but significant gold swing back into even here for DRX.
Yeah, and it looks like what you were saying is actually coming true, Will. The fact that there's just been so many engages as, oh dear, UCal could be in a little bit of trouble, but does get woken up a little bit prematurely.
There's a lot of situational engage tools for DNS, like this Trouble Bubble, like the Jace Hammer.
Yeah.
You know, Cassante pulling somebody through a wall with the All Out.
I think that, like, there's also the fact that if you're a poke composition, you don't need engage. Because you just kind of shoot them from far away.
But if they get to you, because you're holding on to a dragon like that, then there can be problems. It's also early days in this game, but this is a huge swing of momentum. Right now, Peter and DuckTom, we don't have their ults just yet. DuckTom doesn't have flash, can't farm the minions. So that's kind of an issue.
And it's a 1.6k gold advantage for just Gio. So he's having a very good time. Teleport to bring this Cassante in, though, as Gio needs to get himself out of there. Teleport does come on forward. There's the flash. They're trying to hold on to this Nami as the all-out gets him really far away. Tidal Wave is kind of the opposite direction, but sometimes you panic and you just press a button.
I think he was just
not dead.
Just trying to tell him which way to go.
There we go.
He was like, get on your skimboard, let's roll.
He's like, body surf your way out.
Body surf it out. Well, Gio is left alone here, but I think he's okay with it.
Yep, culling is going to soften up Peter, but not too much more going to happen from that one. 1 versus 3, though. It's diveable.
Rich is going to get some free push time here before Dudu shows back up with that teleport attempt there on the bottom side. And it looks like he's not going to get the plate. We'll just back away. That was the Cassante situational engage I was talking about.
Yeah. And that's the engage by placing your body between the bad guys and where they want to go. And that kind of works out as well. Riftmaker now completed here for Rich, but still slight advantage for Dudu, whose Dusante has been working out quite nicely. Bubble going to connect as once again, Closer just having a really good time. Finds the paddle star there, as you can see, and is going to upgrade those boots of Lucidity.
If you look at the farm for UCal and his current level, which is almost a whole level behind Closer, you can see that he is clearly making a statement that he is not doing the strategy of killing the minions, he is doing the strategy of killing the champions and hoping it works out. He will have to kill quite a few more of them if he wants to catch up into Closer, as he has not been killing the minions. That's not his strategy in this game.
No. He hasn't been, I mean, he's killed 2 of the champions, so I guess there's that. But currently we can see that it's 900 gold in the deficit, and right now he's taking a nap. Taking a nap is not how you do the winning, especially when you get hit by Shock Blast as well. Willa's making his way over though as UCal goes between the worlds, and there is a Cataclysm looking to try and hold this Zoe at bay as Pyoshik at full health, but he's not going to be able to help out and even gets knocked up by the Tidal Wave himself. And Closer going down there. It is another kill the champions strategy there for UCal, but it's actually a kill taken away by Willa.
He says, assisting my teammates in killing the champions is also part of my strategy.
Aha, perfect. I didn't know the whole strategy. That was my fault.
Yeah, no, I didn't fully explain it, so that's on me. And obviously, UCal can't talk to us right now. He's kind of busy.
Yeah.
He's making a bit of a statement, but, you know, it's not fine print. As Willer will have to do some Jarvan things now, but I don't think he's ever really worried. He's just a little bit annoyed.
He flagged and he dragged, and he was okay. So have a look at this one more time.
Closer is just way too far up, and you know what Pyoshik doesn't have? Engage or peel.
No.
So the Jace isn't really going to be able to do much here. This kind of reminds me of when everyone was saying Zed was great, and I was like, I don't know, he doesn't have CC.
Well, Doctor may not have living for very much longer. Does have to flash to get himself out of the way of that one.
I think Jace is really strong, but both of these comps haven't really suited him as Doctor may just die.
Yeah, Gio actually takes 3 turret shots or something. Maybe it was 2. It was an angry turret, nonetheless.
Got the backstop, and another wave is going to crash through, and no one is here to catch it, so that's just the turret.
Yep. Takes the barrier as well from Doctor, so won't have that for the next little while. As Peter moving over. That is going to be Drake. Started up here by DRX. That's why that turret is not something they're going to stick around for, wanting to make sure they're not going to have these Drakes stacked up against them. UCal off to the side. Between worlds, very close to coming off cooldown. Cataclysm as well, 7 seconds away.
Another Chemtech Dragon.
All right, another Chemtech Soul. Kind of good for Gwen. Get a lot of extra health back and stuff like that from your Riftmaker.
So Closer got the Wolf turret, which is going to really empower him on the map as Rich.
Just trying to run with scissors here just a little bit. Dudu finding a great angle, gets the needlework out of Rich. Rich is now just going to go back home.
Do we hit these?
Well, Rich can
I'm
press
still
W.
asking. I'm once again asking, do we hit these? No.
Yeah, presses W and is going to be A-OK. Will is making his way forward, though. There's the knock-off, and Tidal Wave once again gets a flash out of Pyoshik. Flash immediately out of the Cataclysm as Willa goes in, and now between worlds, UCal wanting to find the kill as a bailout. I don't think is going to work, and that is a kill over to UCal. Kill the champions, Wolf. That's what he's doing. Willa once again flagging and dragging, but Peter does have the flash, and that will be able to keep him alive. But DRX, they're just killing way more champions this game.
If he kills 2 more champions, he'll actually even up the gold at this point. And believe it or not, when the champions are dead, part of his strategy is it gets easier to kill the minions. He doesn't really enjoy it, but he will do it. It's honest work.
Man, I really want to be there when you're talking to UCal about all of his strategies.
Yeah, no, I'm reading between the lines on his movements on the map.
Aha,
Spelling out. I could speak UCal.
You're the UCal whisperer.
Yeah, I could speak UCal a little bit. I can tell you that after the first death in this game, he told everyone he would like to fall out of his chair, but he was told by his team that that was not appropriate. He will not be doing it again. Oh, Duckdom!
Yeah, Rich doesn't get hit by the Pierce, but let's see whether he can actually kill Duckdom and Peter here, as it's taking them a long time to get through him. Oh, the bailout's procced, and the rend is not enough. 2 versus 1. Rich loves those odds, as now Willa looking to come on forward as well. We'll be able to knock up Peter here, and there is no turret, ladies and gentlemen. That is a dead Renata right there. Holds onto the flag and drag. There it is. And not exactly in the greatest of positions, but still will be taking him down. Bailout or no bailout, that is a dead Renata. And Pyoshik's like, well, at least I'll take my Krugs.
Yeah, I won't be taking all of them, but he won't be taking his red buff either, actually.
Oh, Tidal Wave throws a boat. Sometimes you just want to throw a boat.
Wait, he got it, actually.
Yeah, he did. Shock Blast. Got to pick that one up.
Okay.
Nicely done. Throwing a boat, that's a thing in the other game, isn't it?
The other game?
Yeah, you know the other game? The game that this game is sort of like modeled after a little bit?
Yeah, it's a bit boat. There's a bit of boat action.
Yeah, it's a bit like a boat guy in that one. We got a boat lady in ours.
Yeah. Lost Viking is like, get in the
칼리 안
boat.
보이고.
So, conditional engage, right? Conditional engage. It hit. They are in the mist. So, he's not immune. However, he is Gwen. That is a level 9 champion. He's a level 12 champion.
Yeah.
So...
And the other one's a level 7 champion.
Yeah. That was a bit optimistic. If it were bro, I'd say optimistic, but no. This game for DNS has been a bit of a tragedy. You know, they started off with such a huge lead. Things were going swimmingly. The Zoe looked infallible. Still up in gold. Still up in item.
Yeah.
But
the entire top lane is leading, in theory, here for the DN Supers.
crowd control seems to be a strong tool, as Willer has shown us in this game with his 7 out of 9 KP.
Yeah, 304 on the job, and he is frightening. There is a lot more of the killing the minions that Pyoshik's done. But I don't know whether that is going to work, because it's not translating into dead champions. As Doctor, my god, the damage from Jiu here, who just cancels the culling and is not quite able to kill Doctor. He didn't have flash, but he was able to at least use that martial pose to get out of the way, and the barrier did need to be utilized.
Yeah, they need to be careful because Closer is in the area. He is the main character for DN Supers right now. Doctom, unfortunately, was removed from the game. He was retconned.
He was.
In this one.
They just didn't really feel like the storyline was that interesting, I guess.
They killed him on screen.
All right. Well, Yukal is going to get sleepy once again. Let's see where the... yeah, he's just really dead. That's the 1-2 punch from the Jace and the Zoe.
Maybe a turret and trade here in the mid lane, but they are getting something out of this Zoe that is...
They are trading Yukal's happiness for Jiu's happiness. That's what they're doing. Both Doctom and Yukal just having the most horrible time ever. But there is certainly fun times to be had for their teammates. And so let's see whether they can focus on that.
He had a few fun times in this game.
Yeah.
I don't think Doctom has had any fun times in this game.
No. He is 0-3 and 0. So that would certainly equate to not a whole lot of fun times. It's the flanking numbers in the scoreline that really do dictate happiness. Okay, Will looking for a bit of an angle here, doesn't quite find the knockups, but Pyoshik's in a little bit of trouble. He does have to flash to get out of the Cataclysm. Another big old boat flies by, but it doesn't find too much joy there as Jiu gets distracted and starts shooting his teammates. Hostile takeover, though, not exactly the most impactful. As Yukal, I don't know about that one, as he dives into the enemy team and does give Doctom a little bit more happiness. It's a triple in the end for the Callista as Jiu, oh, do not throw away that big old bounty, my friend. He throws in the culling, but it doesn't really do too much. And DNS, I mean, Baron's been around for 30 seconds. Maybe they're just going to take it down.
There's no ult here for Jiu. There's no tidal wave. I think trying to make something of this is asking for that shutdown to go over, but they are just simply not willing to give it up.
Oh, Jiu taking matters into his own hands, I guess, as the Baron will be going down, but can they get anything? There's a handshake, Jiu. I just don't know whether that was worth it, my friend. And but I do know. I just don't want to talk about it. Yeah, it was. I'm going to say it was not.
When I said Jiu was more confident, more aggressive,
beach ball.
He is. He really, really is. It was very well showcased in this moment that he is not shying around. That he is like, okay, I got a lead. I'm gonna try to push it, but that was probably not the moment. That was pick your battles, but don't pick that one.
Yeah.
This was the big bursty damage.
That was a very dead Yukal.
This fight is incredibly broken up, right? And Hondo loses half his health bar initially. The engage is on to Pyoshik, who's able to get away. And from here, Yukal, little crazy, little psychopathic, right? Like, watch Yukal go in just a moment here. Yeah, going into 5 people. There's no way to save you. There's no way to protect you, my man. All the tools were used.
And the Dusante actually finding a great angle with that final Q to lock down the next kill.
Jiu, sometimes, you know, you're like, it's me against the world, and this was one of those times. But maybe it didn't have to be.
It did not have to be.
Yeah.
Peter did have a great handshake there, though, so certainly something to be spoken about. But the Rebel Baron power play sitting at 2.7k right now, and there is still a minute and a half left on the buff. This is looking like a blowout moment.
Yeah, it certainly looks like now even Duckdom is relevant, and I don't know what conclusions we're supposed to draw from this game. Like, does this mean Jace is good? I don't really think we learned anything about that, but Jace is good when Zoe sets him up and they both hit their burst at max range.
Very true.
That much, I guess, we learned.
We also learned that UCal struggles as the day gets later because these last two performances have not been phenomenal, and we'll see whether he can pull it together moving into this late game as they're looking to try and break the siege. But that's exactly what this composition does. I mean, the siege is ridiculous. You just saw that shock blast. That means that this inner turret is dead. That's just all there is to it.
And it's about to be another one coming straight at you. Pyoshik, line it up. The observers are ready.
Battlestar not going to quite find you, but the shock blast does. And that spells the end of this inhibitor turret as well. DRX realizing that they really need to do something or their base is just going to fall apart.
They have flash on their Jarvan, but everyone is grouped. There's not a great target here. So Willer needs to find an angle, but it's just so tough.
Yeah, the Dusante, we're going to try and take this turret down as Willer looks for the angle there. Does put Duckdom in the Cataclysm as, okay, there's a tidal wave running forward. Duckdom in a little bit of trouble, but does, oh, UCal gets into the backline again and just gets wiped out. The bailout was there anyway from Duckdom. Uses both of his summoners, but this is exactly what they're there for, as the DN Supers might be on the verge of their very first victory here in the LCK Cup after a disappointing first week. DRX unfortunately not able to make it happen here. And they have shown a fair bit of promise. Their first game was great, and then they sort of fell apart at the seams in the last two.
This has been a pretty sobering series, I think, for DRX fans who were on the hype train after some really good performances, not only earlier today, but last week. As this engage was the desperate one they were hoping for. Like, they had the tidal wave. Duckdom's fairly low, so UCal is like, maybe, but look at the shield.
And it looked like Peter rode the tidal wave as well. It was actually really cool. We were talking about body surfing before. He did it because the Fate's Call kind of pulled him along it, which was very fun to see.
That was some very high locket value for Peter in that fight. And Duckdom was not really in any danger, despite UCal's best intentions there, to kill him.
Yeah.
They were not good intentions for Duckdom, but Duckdom didn't care. This one seems it's really reaching its conclusion at this point, Atlas. IE is done for Gio, and it's a really cool sword he's going to put in his storage case. Like, he's got a case for it for sure. We can keep it in. He won't be wielding it really in this game.
If they can find a good teamfight angle before all the poke comes in.
Willer just used his flash Cataclysm earlier, so doesn't have that flash anymore. I mean, UCal has his ult back, but he is on two items.
Man. Dudu is also an entire item ahead of Rich.
Banshee's Veil.
Very far behind.
We have Edge of Night. Okay, here's the flank.
Yeah,
one more
let's see whether they can make it happen as UCal once again going between the worlds. There's a Cataclysm into the backline as UCal's dead once again. And Gio is just trying to get away from this Cassante, who is just way too big. Rich gets into that backline, though. They do manage to take down the Jace, as Closer still hunting for the rest of DRX. A 1-for-2 so far, as it's probably better than what DRX could have been hoping for prior to this, but there are a lot of people now trying to take down some Nexus turrets. As Gio, let's see what he can actually get done here. Needs to get out of the way of this brick wall that is Dudu, who just dives towards him. Duckdom almost falling down here, but Willer, can he get it? The knockup does come through, and Rich turns up to try and take down this Callista once again. But the Dusante says you are not winning this game, and Rich will be falling. It's a triple for the Zoe, and Closer once again showing that he's the better mid laner here in this series today. UCal will be respawning, but I just don't know whether that's going to mean too much here for DRX, as him and Andal are just doing their very best to try and find it here. Great Q3 from Dudu to try and lock down UCal, who is just desperately trying to kill minions, trying to kill Closer, and neither are things that he's really managing to figure out, as all the heal comes through there from Andal, but tidal wave not going to be enough, and down will go both of them. Gio shows up yet again though. Oh, can he actually find a couple of kills before his Nexus inevitably dies? The answer is Yes, there's one. Dudu is now getting very low, and I think this game is a disaster. Peter now running away, and there's the culling. So, you know, a lot of them are dead, but the Nexus is very exposed.
Yeah, the Pommet collector, or not Pommet, Pomvote collector just appeared and then walked away. Well, not walked away, but sent a message to confirm the game and not ended. It did not collect.
Speaking of confirming things, we have an update. There's actually no official name for Renekton's weapon. It's just referred to as a crescent blade or axe.
Sounds like they need to get on that.
Yeah, so it's
man, I
we can
sure
call
hope
it
that
the crescent of truth.
I sure hope that I one day can buy a model Renekton and it'll have really high detail on its crescent blade / axe.
Well, it may just have that, as he's in the Cataclysm, but who's trapped in where with who? The rest of his team is just not there.
I personally did not witness, I was not there, I was on a plane, but I was told legends of and then watched a VOD of a 10,000 gold lead from a certain organization.
No.
Oh,
Wolf, no, surely no. They would never do it again. They couldn't do it again. No. There's no way. No, don't even say it. Don't put it into existence, Wolf. Don't say stuff like that.
Production,
they are not losing this game.
Production, can I take a look at the gold difference over time? Let me pull that one up. We might need to take a look at where it once was.
Suggest not looking at that. Okay, G-Sun's
put a bit of a dip, 11,000. So we're kind of on par.
Hey, wait, but they had a really large gold lead, and if it's really large and then halved, it's still pretty big.
Yes, but what if it goes, what if you get the other half? It's not like it halves again and goes 2.5.
But Wolf, they have no Nexus turrets and stuff. Well, I mean, they will in about a minute.
Look at that inhibitor.
Yeah.
What's it doing? What's it doing, Atlas?
It has respawned! They've all respawned! Oh, goodness. Okay.
See those timers?
Wait, Dudu's caught? Dudu's caught! He takes the Mega Cone. He takes the Mega Cone. Docked arm. Okay, Gio, not going to overchase.
Okay, so...
Wait.
I actually kind of have to think about win cons for a second. For about 5 to 7 minutes there, I was like,
Nexus needs to explode.
About 5 to 7 minutes there, I was like, all right, well, this game's a foregone conclusion. Let's think about POM and where we're going with it. And I was like, is it PO Shake or is it kind of close or did it kind of pop off? Had a decent game in game 2, but now I'm starting to wonder.
Is it Willer?
Yeah. Is it Jiwoo?
Maybe it's just Andil. Maybe it's Joker.
I wonder if the DNS coaching staff is currently discussing how they will talk to Dudu about running into the fountain instead of hitting.
I mean, Dudu doesn't do a massive amount of Nexus damage. To add insult to injury, ladies and gentlemen, it was an 11,001. 11,000 gold lead, 100. As Willer looks for the Cataclysm, and Dudu is in the right position right now. Hostile takeover, not doing a massive amount of work though. As this is what DRX need to do. They just need to hard engage every single time.
And they got a lot of damage done. They're going to get a lot of map control from this.
Beach Ball goes wide.
Was not taken, you know, at this game. We're sitting at 2 dragons apiece, right? This next dragon's not up for 2 minutes, and it's not even the soul. It's just soul point for whoever gets it. This game is
there is still an outer turret in the top lane, Wolf.
Yeah, also... You know what's the craziest thing?
What's the craziest?
Like the crazy... Okay, hold on. I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay,
UCal still doesn't have a third item.
Oh, God. That's not... I mean, that is crazy. It's not a happy crazy,
I'm looking at that. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that even... He doesn't have a third... He does not have his Void Staff.
Hey, look. There's... At some point this game, all of these players didn't have a third item, okay?
That's true.
He's a late bloomer.
Seems to have 4, though, right now. And he does not have his third. But...
I mean, Jiu's got a casual Quicksilver Sash, and he's down.
Okay, here's the problem, Atlas. Remember we were talking about conditional engage earlier?
Got it.
They don't have Baron anymore, but they had it, and they got enough map control back. They don't have that vision thing we were talking about, hit the poke. So they don't have engage either. And Rich is just pushing aside as a level 18 Gwen. He's about to be level 19, just hit it.
Oh, God, yeah.
How do they deal with DRX now? They don't have any tools. They gotta hit that poke, hit that handshake.
I feel like they should deal with them the same way they dealt with them for the rest of the game.
Yeah, but
by killing them all the time.
But that was when they had a little bit more even map control. Now they don't have it really at all. So it's gonna get a little bit tricky. It's gonna get a little bit hard.
Well, I mean, okay. So positives for DNS are that they still have a lot of turrets still available. Positive for DRX is they can kill a lot of turrets that are still available.
Yes. And the
to
gold
get
lead
money
shrinks further.
Yeah. All right, Willow looks for the angle once again. Handshake gets rid of him. And there's the shock blast. That's what needs to land as Gio gets closed in on. There's a hostile takeover, and he explodes with the Ren damage. Peter now in trouble. It's a double kill for Doctom, who gets put in the bubble. Dudu looks for the angle. It's a triple. And I told you that it was impossible. There was no way they were going to be able to withstand the power of the DN Supers this time around as they march up the mid lane. Only Willa and Rich.
Are you telling me or are you telling Dudu and Pioshik who lived it?
I don't know. I think I'm telling myself and hoping that it is indeed true as Closer looks for it here. Rich is still very scary as Willa just trying to take care of Closer momentarily. He has a GA, but Rich not going to be able to help bail him out, I don't think. And there's only so much needlework that can be done here. As a lot of buttons are going wide, he's trying to pull the minions, goes golden.
10 seconds on Gio, well, there's no way, right?
I mean, these turrets are just going to fall like paper. Gio is going to show up. He's marching out with that big old horse, but there's the all-out as he looks to try and take down Closer. He does at least get one, but Doctom is focused on the Nexus, and down it will go. There is the first win of the season here for the DN Supers. They will take down DRX tonight.
That was a harrowing moment, though, when the Nexus did not fall. They lost map control. But I tell you what, Gio did not get POM today.
No.
It was very cool when he had the defense there, but he stepped pretty far forward into a comp that had very little engage, and they were still able to burst him down, and then subsequently win the game. I think if played slightly better, the game would have gone on for a little bit longer. We might have actually had a chance that DNS lose it, but they were able to identify their target and take him out and push to end. But it's probably not the way that the late game went. Is probably not the way that they will be remembering this series. They'll remember the lead they had earlier. They'll remember Pioshik playing Jason, picking up the first win on the champion this season. And Closer reminding everyone that last year was his year.
It was, and he's looking to try and continue that, although he does have another gentleman whose year it is on his team, and the Dusante was pretty powerful. Doctom got a little bit bailed out in this game, no pun intended there.
Except when Peter self-cast it for some reason.
Yeah, that did happen also. The bottom lane were a little bit worrisome, but the late game Callista actually kind of worked out as he was able to utilize a lot more of a tanky build in order to stay alive and get that work done. It was a slugfest, though, between these two squads. And the cool thing is, at the end of today, we have a 6-6 between both of our Elder and Baron groups.
At the end of a 6-gamer, that's why this Phantom of the Opera music is there, man. That's actually too creepy. 6-6-6.
All right, now I'm frightened.
Not as spooky as how Yukao played his ultimates this game. This one worked out really well.
Yeah, this one was a good one. But the others left a little to be
in the
desired.
mid lane, right? Though the one that was in the mid lane was all right. It might be this one. I cannot remember exactly. It's a lot of gameplay today, and a lot of gameplay in this one. No, it was not this one. This is the one where he goes into 5 people.
Yeah.
The one where he defends the turret later is better. But yeah, he had the mindset of somebody who, like I said, would not kill champions, would not kill minions, but kill champions and try to carry this game. But he doesn't have the items to do so. This was Gio's heroic defense. I mean, looking back at this, it's just a Cassante. Like, yeah, I don't think he could have ended. He tried his best here, and Pioshik was not there. So,
yeah, they had a respawning wave as well, so the minions not exactly helping out. But man, this was a very weird end to the day. As, yeah, Pioshik dying there almost cost the DN Supers everything. As this last-ditch effort to defend, just not quite enough there. Rich, cute little idea, going for the Marin tech of pulling the wave away. But as soon as he goes golden, the minions lose interest. And these Nexus turrets were just not that healthy.
Yeah, they really weren't. They respawn with less health, so they just die. They're made of paper. Gio still made this kind of interesting and cinematic as he went down, but this time not able to save the day.
Yeah, good target selection there to make sure that he was focusing Doctom and Closer, but there was a GA on this Callista anyway. And yeah, DRX not quite able to make it across the line. You can see there was a bit of a dip, But this time around, it was not the heartbreak that DNS were suffering against the Bros last year. It was a little bit of a better outcome. It's Closer that picks up the player of the match here with his Rise performance that was outstanding. And Zoe really making UCal's life hell.
Yeah, I think you could go for mid or jungle. The Azir game, obviously somewhat forgettable, 0-2 and 2, but
yeah.
In the wins, pretty high impact. Crushing Closer and basically getting him out of the game in Game 3 was, I think, part of the recency bias why everyone voted for him. But as was illustrated by his face and discussed by us, Pioshik ran Game 2
he did.
On the Lee Sin. I had a pretty good game with Jace there at the end. I ultimately went for Pioshik, but I think both votes are very strong and viable.
I assume that it would be pretty split between the two. Obviously, we will get full information as to what the votes look like immediately after the interview on the space. But I probably would have been a Pioshik voter as well after that Lee Sin performance. That was vintage. Beautifully done.
You and I were both predators of DRX, and we both were, I think, I don't want to say we read too much into week 1, but I think we were hopeful this team was going to show us more. I'm a double predator of DRX. I predated them against Nongshim later this week as well, and I'm a little bit less confident about that now.
The bounce back might happen, though. You never know. They've got a great coach that is all about making sure that you know, his players stay positive, and that could be something that could be lent upon here after this disappointing loss.
DRX lose to Nongshim, I think maybe I'll take them out of the dark horse category. If they win again, then I guess they're just going to keep playing with my heart, Atlas.
Yeah, I think so too. And this is a very fun team to watch. And I think after that Game 1, they got a little bit lax, perhaps. But not anymore. And certainly not the guy that is waiting on stage for the interview. So let's throw it over to have a chat with Closer.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the POM interview translation, joined by Closer on the side of DN Supers, who have taken their first victory. Congratulations! You know, with how intense group battle is, DN Supers' victory has evened out the score at 6-6. How do you feel? To be honest, if we were to lose today, I feel like we would have been in a really awkward space, you know, in the perspective of, you know, the Baron Group's leaders. So I'm really glad. And there was a change in your lineup, so how has practice been? I think we've just been trying to build up our synergy, and I know that Peter, he must have been pretty anxious, but he actually did really well. And there was a gameplay in Game 2 that shocked everyone, so let's take a look at the replay. Ryze's positioning here was so good, so how did you set this up? You know, we wanted to push mid lane, and then there's a lot of action going on, and I thought that there was going to be a lot of eyes on me. And on the Nico first, so that I thought it would be a really good, nice time to kind of ambush. So when you succeeded, how did it feel? I felt so relieved. I actually thought to myself, oh, they actually didn't know where I was. Thank goodness. What do you think is the biggest highlight, your most favorite highlight of today? You know, with Pioshik, I was able to hit my sleep bubble with Zoe and get a kill on Aurora, and that was actually something that I was most proud about today. And just like match 1, we saw Jace being left open for Game 3, and Pioshik took him as the first pick. So what do you think makes him so available right now? I feel like a lot of teams actually put Jace as a win condition, and I think in our team we know that Pioshik's role is really just playing that Jace, and he's really good with him, so that's probably why. And Game 3 turned heavily unfavorable for you guys, with especially the enemy's poke comp. So what was your game plan? You know, yeah, the early game wasn't easy, but we had a high value comp. And our goal really was to try to focus on the top side, just making their enemy top side suffer a little more, and then we would eventually win. And their player comps have become so much cleaner. So what did you focus on? Yeah, I think it does become really chaotic in terms of player comps, but as we are becoming more experienced as players, as veterans, I think it's getting cleaned up. What is your goals this season? Yeah, we didn't have a great start, but I think this will be a new beginning for us. I think we can definitely turn things around and make it more favorable from now on and win.
오늘도 잘 들려주시기도 하셨고요. 그리고 또 DNS버스의 첫 승 때까지 숨을 참고 있겠다. 이런 팬분들의 치어풀도 있었습니다.
There were so many fan signs, just like one that said they will hold their breath until DN Super's first victory. Any message for your fans? You know, I was really sorry for our fans because we started week 1 with just losses, but thank you so much again for all the support. And your reply to that lullaby, the message about your lullaby, do you want to say anything to that fan? Good night. And your next opponent is Hana Life Esports. What is your mindset for your next match? You know, Hana Life Esports is considered a very strong team. I think we will have to do so much better. I want to do well. I hope you keep this momentum going. And that's the end of the interview with Closer. And back to the space. Thank you.